No! We're gonna get this right. We're gonna do this
Eddie Kingston. He's one of the dirtiest fighters in independent wrestling.
You talk about grinding. You talk about living this rough life, all that jazz. No one's gonna outgrind you, all that stuff. My man, it's easy to say that when you grew up around used to be legends like Arn Anderson. Yeah, you heard me. Keep shooting murder ones at me, and I'll knock your jaw right off your face, partner. You know what I grew up around? Alcoholics, junkies. I grew up around that, and I had to survive. I had to grind. You couldn't last a day in my shoes. So you don't tell me nothing about grinding. You talk about the sport of pro wrestling? That's a joke. Because every person you faced has been a child. I am a grown-ass man, and I will put you in the ground and smile.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. We're 4 grown men, and we're here to discuss professional wrestling on another weekend. I'm Eric.
The Hater. And I'm Manny. I'm Lord Manny Hayes. I got way the hell of myself. Hey.
Ho-ho! I'm Marcus, the grand finale.
And then we have official member of the Lumberjack who's on the move. If you can see him in the video, we have Wes N B'more. He's leaving work. That's how dedicated he is to the cause of being on this week's episode of the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast.
Gotta make that money. Fella. Tell you how y'all doing.
All right. Just want to give a shout out to the Diz Man providing my merchandise that I'm wearing today. It's the AWO shirt. We got all the links in the previous videos. Oh, as Manny holds up the book.
Check out the bookmark.
And then also, just want to point out, just to get the show started off right, Marcus is no longer the champion. He is no longer the champion. How does it feel to be screwed out of the belt, Mr. Grand Finale?
I want to know, for the record, first of all, fuck you. I want to know, for the record, how do you feel about taking the title away from a real champion? How do you feel that I was doing Make-A-Wishes, okay? That they wanted to meet the DSPN champion, Eric. They wanted to meet me, and I met them. I met little Timmy in the well who have stage 4 polio. And I met him, and I told him this week, when Sheamus defeats Jeff Hardy in that bar fight, I will remain the champion. And I dedicate this match to you, little Joey in the well, okay? Little Joey in the well with stage 4 polio. That was for you, and you took it away from me, Eric. You made me do this. And I blame Sheamus, and I blame you. But I tell you this right now, until that title is back in my possession, there will be a drought throughout all of Africa. Like the Stars took over Pride Rock. That's what's going on here.
But we blessed the reins.
Well, as we know, Adrian the Diz Man is the current champion right now because due to
only for a couple more days.
Due to me being extremely upset with the rulings of the commissioner, I decided to forego my championship aspirations. Although I knew I would win. But the Lord is corrupt.
I honestly feel you are cheapening this Adrian's win by going all Beef Lee on this by going, oh, I'm not gonna do. I want other people to have a chance. No. You've cheapened his victory.
Yeah, you're a true heel. You're a cheap, petty bastard, and for letting this man win. I just want to know when my rematch come up, I get to pick the stipulation. Okay, I pick the stipulation whenever I get my rematch. Mr. Commissioner.
Why would you pick the stipulation?
Exactly. You're not Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler got to pick his, and he lost blatantly.
This isn't the WWE.
You see how corrupt the commissioner is, man? I need to get him removed. I mean, I don't know which school of commissioning he went to learn how to be a commissioner, but I question his commissionarity. I want to see his commissioner degree. That's what I want to see.
Who commissioned the commissioner?
Exactly.
This guy.
Go for it, Ron. Oh, damn, that is a certificate. That is a certificate. I don't know what it's for, but I'm sure it's for commissioning.
J.K. Smush says he thought it was tied. Commissioner, why don't you explain the rationale of how the Dizman is the current champion?
So, as convoluted as this was becoming, because of all the mishaps that happened on Extreme Rules, and then Eric decided.
Are you pulling out of a tow truck, Wes?
No, I'm putting my windows down. It's hot outside.
We hear the beeping of like it sounds like you're backing up into like a tow truck. It's like like oh shoot, it's getting dramatic.
So, back to the championship at hand. When a match between the three of them were anyone differing, that became the challenge match, and it goes in the favor of the champion. The champion picks the challenge match, and thus Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy counted as 2 points, as that was the match Marcus, the previous champion, the former champion, picked.
The next champion! That's how I like to be referred to. The next champion!
And then Eric forfeited his rights for the title because him and Adrian would have tied and would have had to pick picks for next week. However, as Eric has forfeited, Wes from the Lumber Chat is now the number one contender, as he caused big fuss in the Lumber Chat.
Yes. Speak on this, Commissioner. Speak on this.
And now we got the speakerphone on the move, Wes. It wouldn't be a show with Wes on it.
Can Wes' new nickname be the Big Fuss?
The Big Fuss.
Yeah, because he called the Big Fuss in the Lumberjack. I'm like, the Big Fuss is a pretty cool nickname. I may steal it myself.
Well, anyway, since we do have a member from the Lumber Chat on the show, on Tuesday, I was a participant of the Lumber Chat. I had a great time, but it was a question that was raised up in the chat. Manny, before I get back to it, this man needs to know, what is he picking again? Which show is he picking?
Oh, hold on.
Because I know Wes emailed his picks.
The champ's picks are in.
Yes, his picks are in the email.
You can't call yourself the champ.
Hey, he can call himself the people's champ, all right? We're all champions in the inside.
No, we don't accept rogue championships.
I got the MFT World title.
So I believe, looking at Wes picks, it looks like he's picking for NXT and for AEW, that show that watches.
So does this man need to know what to pick?
Hold on, give me a second. Can you call in?
I love the organization of this. This is really, really good organization, guys. I really like the production value of the show.
I didn't honestly think I was being thrown to straight away for this.
Well, you know,
I didn't think we would start the show with this. In our pre-show meeting, you said about we were going to talk about race and race relations.
We are, but the thing is that what is more important is who is the title. Who is the title? Who has the title? That's what's important.
I am still the champion.
Yeah, I'm going to see if Adrian's going to call in, and then from there, I'm trying to see what he can do. But like I said, I was a participant in the Lumber Chat. The Lumber Chat, he said he's going to call in a minute, so I'll take care of that. The Lumber Chat said Levi had a question. He pretty much said that it was blatant racism in WWE, how all of the black participants and people of color were only interacting with each other. Since I have a people of color panel, well, technically it's 3 black guys and a Filipino man. That's enough.
People of color.
Huh?
It's like a coloring book. What are you talking about? Everybody's a piece of color.
We don't have anybody else to rationale. Give other sides. Marcus, I turned to you. Was it blatant racism?
I play the white man.
Okay, go ahead, Marcus.
Hell no. Well, in the defense of the WWE, it could be seen a little bit of racism, but then you have to do it on the flip side. 90% of the time, we have white guys fighting white guys. In wrestling, it's 90% of the time. It's white guys on white guys. So it is we're in a unique circumstance within the WWE when I'm going to say the roster is very diverse, and we have never had that in a wrestling promotion well, mostly in WWE ever, in which it's this many African American wrestlers, whether male or female, or people of color, with Latino included, on the main roster. We've never had that. And so, yes, you can see it as they're only interacting with each other, but they are building the storyline. And I believe the plans were to actually form a nation involving these guys, the Nation of Domination. So maybe it'd be more mixed up in the future, but right now it seems like they are just feuding with each other. But I don't consider it racist. Not yet.
Now I'll move on to the commissioner. Commissioner, do you agree with the white finale, or do you have a different opinion?
The white finale. You always got to bring it back to porn, don't you, Eric?
No!
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's if you go looking for race, you'll find race in everything, to be honest. But like if you look at the Raw roster currently, there isn't that many white people on the roster that like at the moment that are like actually in fighting, to be honest. Like you do have the large mixture of people of color just all over the show, which I think is more of an improvement, if anything. Because before, if you go back like 2 years, it wasn't like that.
All right.
It really wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't. And that's going to be a follow-up question. I will follow up after that. Wes, as you drive home, how do you feel? Do you think that it's blatant racism that WWE only has their black and Latino performers competing against each other compared to AEW that doesn't have any?
I would say yeah, because a lot of those black and Latino wrestlers are not upper card championship, I guess, wrestlers. So everybody's kind of fighting on the undercard. But do you think that because we have a lot of Hispanic and black wrestlers, do you think that affects the ratings?
Well,
are people not watching because of that?
That was going to be the follow-up question that Marcus and I had a conversation on. And before we touch on that, I think that I hop to one side and I go to another side on taking both sides of this equation, and I don't really know what the answer is, and I'm not afraid to admit that, but I can see certain racism when it comes to the title picture. For example, Bobby Lashley had one bite of the apple against Drew McIntyre. He got one match, he lost, and now he's back being sidekick to MVP. Compared to Dolph Ziggler, who lost to Drew McIntyre, and now this week on Monday Night Raw, he has another opportunity just because he allowed Drew to pick the stipulation this time. I don't actually know how that goes. I felt that the reason why I didn't see it as blatant racism for me is because it felt so natural of how they all interacted with each other. Like it felt like commonplace that they would see each other in the back and they would have these little petty beefs with each other, which would happen. Because, I mean, I hate to say it, like, you know, like at work, you kind of tend to hang out with who you hang out with. But
do you...
Oh, go ahead, man.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you know when you just said that's how you saw it in a way? But is that because that's how you have got used to it? Because I remember at the start of the restart one when George Floyd died, I was quite ignorant in the fact that like in the area I live in, I didn't see that like racism as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to go back and think about it, and then to remember, yeah, it happens all the time. I've just kind of blanked it out and just accepted that it happens, and that's the worst thing to do.
Well, that was another thing I wanted to bring up. It could be a systemic problem because, like, we're so used to it happening in professional wrestling that we kind of sweep it under the rug because we're just happy that people are on the show. It's something. And to answer Grunge, I don't have really that many black friends at work. I hate to tell you, Grunge Smurf. It's
dang.
sad.
You should have played the white guy.
No.
You should have played the white guy, not me.
Well, wouldn't that lead into the hater?
I became the hater.
And so here's another thing, though. But on top of that, when Bobby Lashley fought Drew McIntyre, did anybody feel like Bobby Lashley should have won the title at that moment? I mean,
No.
you ain't getting that one title shot, but would you have rather see him to lose it, whatever was it Backlash, and then the next pay-per-view lose again, and then he's devalued, or would you rather see him move on to something else, and then you come back to this at a later date?
But you asked the question, what has Bobby Lashley really moved on to? Like, he's sidekicked to MVP for arguably the mid-level title that is held by a black man who has COVID.
The black men are fighting for it.
So it's like he's kind of been demoted while Dolph has been elevated.
I don't think Dolph has been elevated. He seemed like a chump in this whole feud. Like, he's a pushover. Like, he had the Extreme Rules match and had all the rules go his way, but he still lost. Then he's begging and on his knees. The champion turns his back, walks away from him, and he's still begging for a title shot. And he still comes up as a chump, and no one believes he's actually going to win this title.
Well, let me say something. Don't we always expect Dolph to lose? Like, if he actually ever did win a championship, it will be a surprise to everybody.
Yeah.
So we expect him to lose. But Lashley, you expect him to win, even if Drew just won the championship maybe like a month or 2 or 3 or whatever ago. You expect Dolph to lose. If Lashley, you want him to win, you expect him to win. So if he actually did win, you'd be like, wow, okay, I can see that happening. Nobody can see Dolph winning.
No. I thought Eddie Kingston had a better chance to win Cody Rhodes' belt this week than Dolph Ziggler had a chance of beating Drew McIntyre in any type of match.
I would agree with that situation because, I mean, this was the first time I felt Cody was in trouble. But what Wes had said earlier.
Now, it had nothing to do with Cody being in trouble.
Hold on. The Diz man is calling right now. Hold on 1 second. Diz man, hold on 1 second.
Tell him I'll be there in 2 minutes.
Diz man, you're live on the live broadcast of the show. Can you hear us all? Can you guys hear oh wait, wrong button. Diz man, can you hear us now?
Fire the PA.
There you go. I got you a little bit.
Yeah, I hit the wrong slider. My bad on that one. First,
it happens.
Congratulations on being the new champion. Marcus is extremely salty about your championship reign, and he says it will end very shortly.
The grand finale will protest all of Baltimore until that title returns.
You can protest all you want, but that don't change. Don't change that I'm the champ, baby.
So
I'm gonna sit in the ring until I get a rematch.
So we have on the line with us, we have your challenger, Wes N B'more. We're having a very thoughtful conversation about race right now.
What's happening, Wes?
What's going on, this man? I'm on the road right now. Where you at? Coming to get you.
I'm at my mother-in-law's house right now.
All right, we're not gonna have a B'more family reunion right now. Lord Manny. Lord Manny, could you give us the matches so the Diz man can pick and we can let him get back on to his mother-in-law house to have a good old time with his mother-in-law?
So, starting on Monday, we've got Asuka versus Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were just going to do this live.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you were running them down. Okay, let me think. I'm gonna say Sasha Banks is gonna win.
All right. And Wes, who are you picking in this situation?
I'm going with Sasha also.
All right. That is a push. Next match.
Y'all think Asuka doesn't have a chance in this?
My pick's already in. I emailed him already, but
well, you probably remember him. Is this better for live TV?
It's a showmanship. But here's my thing. You guys really think Asuka has no chance to retire that title?
Marcus, we can discuss this afterward. Remember, this man is at his mother-in-law house. We got to get these picks in. Manny?
No, let him speak. He's all right. Let him speak.
Over on NXT, we've got a triple threat match of Finn Balor versus Dexter Lumis and Timothy Thatcher.
I'm going to say Finn on that one.
All right.
Who?
He went Finn.
I'm taking Finn.
You picked the demon.
And Wes, who you got?
Going with the upset, Lumis.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Crazy pain. He's taking crazy pain.
That's the first. Commissioner,
That is a good pick, and that's what I want.
what's the next match you're going for, Commish?
So the next match will be a tag match
Okay.
for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Dark Order.
Champ, who you got?
I'm gonna go with my gut, and I'm gonna say the Dark Order.
Ooh.
And who you going with, Wes?
Dark Order.
Who you going with, Wes?
I was leaning for the Dark Order getting a win over some chicanery, but I'm gonna go with Omega and Page.
Ooh, you guys are really going out this one. And
This is a
Yes,
good
sir.
battle.
Lord, let's just do 2 more matches. I want you to pick 2 more matches to go from there.
Okay.
So just 2 more.
Just 2 more. You get the pick because you're the commissioner.
Hikaru Shida versus Diamante.
I'm going with
What
Hikaru.
did Diamante do to get a title shot?
All right.
It's non-title.
So
Oh, it's not title?
no, that's fine though. Wes, Diz picked Sheeta. Who are you going? Diamante or Sheeta?
I mean, is it a title match or is it a non-title match?
Non-title from what I can tell.
It's just a match though, people. Come on. What you got?
I'm going. He picked Sheeta.
He took Sheeta.
I'm going with Sheeta.
I'm glad you didn't make that mistake, man. I'm glad you didn't make that mistake.
Well, no, if it's a non-title match, Diamante may catch Sheeta sleeping.
Commissioner, can I request that we have a match from SmackDown on this too? Because can we have AJ Styles versus Grand Metalik as the final match?
My alter ego.
Who the fuck is Big Metalik? Who's picking Grand Metalik?
This is a foregone conclusion. You don't really want to have this match on SmackDown.
I know. Okay, pick the last match then.
The Inner Circle versus the Best Friends and the Jurassic Express.
I'm going with the Best Friends in this.
All right, and
All right, what was the match again?
Inner Circle versus the Jurassic Express and the Best Friends.
See, I wrote, is that with Orange Cassidy?
Yes.
Or no?
Yeah.
I did write down that I took Orange Cassidy, so I'm sticking with them. Delete. If they lose, it don't matter. So I'm going with Orange Cassidy.
All right, and Wes,
Everybody.
Inner Circle.
No. What? No.
No, it's the same
He's going
match.
Best Friends.
Oh, he's going.
Best
Best friends are Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best Friends.
And so in the interest of this, we're going to leave out Darby Allin and John Moxley match with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks and the open title match.
Yeah, I think we have 5 matches, and they also have 2 different picks. So I think the title will be decided with the triple threat match and the tag team match on AEW, which I think is a great way to solve this.
So Adrian, as you are the champion, you get the pick of the challenge match, which is either Finn Balor versus Dexter Lumis and Thatcher, or the Dark Order versus Kenny Omega. This match will count as 2 points to rule out any ties.
All right, I'm going with the triple threat. Finn Balor. I'm taking Finn.
There we
Getting
have
that Finn
it.
rub.
All
Getting that Finn rub.
right, champ. We appreciate the phone call. I'm pretty sure you need to get back to your mother-in-law's house.
Yeah.
I hear the nervousness in your voice, man.
You know, I'm 17 years in, so I'm not as nervous as I used to be.
So this man, since you're out here, I might as well ask you this question, get your opinion before you go, since you are the champ.
Absolutely.
In the Lumber Chat on Tuesday, Levi said that he felt that WWE was blatantly racist by having all of the people of color only compete against each other. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's being blown out of proportion?
I think it's being blown out of proportion. I think it's like a happy accident, I feel like they're doing it, but they're not doing it intentionally.
Okay. Well, thank you for speaking on this, champ. We appreciate that. We're going to continue doing the show. You
No problem.
have a good time, and I look forward to you retaining your championship. You know, as many.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The champ is here.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Wes was saying something.
I know he's still listening.
No, I hung up on him. I hung up on him.
Well, I know he'll listen. He'll listen second hand. I just want him to remember I'm the man that runs this brand.
Oh wow.
No, you're not, sir.
Wow. Well, you see, Marcus, this is what happens when you make bad picks and you lose. This is what happens. You have people show up and try to take over your title match.
Well, in
I
theory,
feel like
this
I
is
brought
partly
him
your
last week.
fault.
Only got
In
one
theory,
shot.
This is partly your fault, Eric.
True. So El Luchador said Vince had all the Latinos wrestling each other too. They did. I mean, it's like they're all touching each other. But the last question, as we were going to speak on, is something that Wes brought up in a conversation that Marcus and I had. Raw ratings have been down. The question is, do you think the ratings are down because there are more people of color on the screen compared to the strong demographic of wrestling fans? Manny, you shook your head no, so I want you to speak on this first, sir.
I think it's just the decline of wrestling. I think not many people are watching it now. The only people who are watching are the people that actually want to watch it. It's hard to bring in casual fans these days, especially with what's going on. So I don't think it's anything to do with race. I think it's just a question of interest. And I think a lot of people have lost interest with wrestling because there's not big stars anymore. There's not someone there to draw you in these days anymore, if you think about it.
Wes, I'm going to go to you. What Manny said, do you agree with him or do you have anything else to add?
I think people are just kind of bored. I mean, with kind of wrestling right now. You're able to find out news and spoilers and everything like every day, even though things change. So there are no like big stars. You know, the Romans and the Cenas are off doing other things, movies and staying at home. Maybe when crowds get back, but right now it's just kind of, they're going through the motions. Put it that way.
All right, and Marcus, I come to you to close it out since you are the grand finale. Give us your best take, sir.
Wait, why am I closing it out? I'm not closing it out if you haven't gave your take yet.
You always just got to be combative, man. The camera's on you. Say your...
I just like pointing facts that I am not last if you go after me.
But maybe I wasn't giving an opinion.
But you get the last word. You're gonna give an opinion. You always have an opinion. Anyway, what's the question again? The whole thing that I think it could I agree with everybody here so far that yes, there, like Manny said, there aren't really any stars right now, and I believe both of them there's so much going on in the world that there is something. There's a lot more than wrestling that's happening. Like the news is currently the highest rated TV show on all demographics or whatever, because you want to know what's going on with COVID, you want to know what's going on with the protests, people being kidnapped in Portland, and all types of stuff is going on in the world. China trade deals and everything. There's so much going on in the world that wrestling seems so small, especially with sports coming back and everything as well. So with all that being said, wrestling has had everything stripped away from it. And it had pyro, or WWE can't travel, which was also some more advertisers like, oh, it's my friends at the show, let me see what they're doing. There's just a lot of factors that go into it. And you can also go with and blame that wrestling shows aren't as creative as they used to be, and they're not hooking you with some of these storylines. And then you can throw in the race thing that we brought up earlier, that on top of that maybe I might enjoy a show because I connect with all the diversity, whether it's women and people of color and the uniqueness of the show. But I can see another group of people going like, I don't see myself in any of these characters, and going like, I don't connect with Asuka or Sasha or the Street Profit or MVP. That I only like the only dominant white belt figure on Raw right now is probably Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Everybody else seems to just be on the show, and they don't even appear to be stars. So I think it's just a combination of everything of what's going on in the world today, in the world of 2020.
Brother, I will say that was well said, and I agree with everything that you pretty much said. I think most people just don't care about wrestling. As simple as that. You have hardcore fans, and you have the casual fan doesn't care anymore. And with real sports coming back, as El Luchador said, Brothers on Baseball is back, and that's why I will not be running long on AEW, because the Los Angeles Dodgers will be taking on the San Francisco Giants today at 1 o'clock. And you know what?
We gonna get that ass.
We gonna get up in there, man. You can't get up in there.
So Eric, let me ask you something real quick.
Okay.
Let me ask you something. So do you feel like the WWE is falling down because they are the ones that should be making the stars? Or is it the audience who's not there, the ones that make the stars?
You know,
The audience.
I think it's the audience, but I think as Eric Young said on Busted Open this week when he was doing an interview, he says that the biggest problem with the WWE is that they have so much potential on that roster and they have so many people that are waiting to break out and be stars. However, everything gets controlled by one person, and that one person has that decision, and he either makes or break you. And, you know, as the announcers had said, like it was Bully Ray and I believe it was Tommy Dreamer saying that if you can't figure out how to use EY on your roster, because he is a multifaceted, talented person where he can be a bad guy, he can be a crazy, he can be a comedy act, he can be everything, then there's something fundamentally flawed with the chain of command. And you can see that in WWE when you have people who are arguably stars in NXT who have connected with a smaller audience, and as soon as they make it to the main roster, next thing you know, they're shoved over the rug. We have the Ascension disappeared. Look what they did with Shayna Baszler, who has been a dominant force. I mean, arguably Bobby Roode. The only one I can say that has made the successful jump from NXT to the main roster, it's actually Drew McIntyre. He's the only one. And that could just be because he was in NXT already. I don't know if Vince cares about the Nakamura's out there, the Robert Roode and stuff like that.
Are you calling Matt Riddle a failure already?
What happened?
Baron Corbin has made it. Baron Corbin has made it. That's your boy.
Was Baron Corbin?
I think Kevin
featured
Owens
a lot.
kind of made it as well.
Yeah.
Who, Manny?
Kevin Owens.
Seth Rollins.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, there's been some success stories, but I'm just saying that
The majority
of people don't feel like the shirt that Wes is wearing right now, No Way Jose, didn't even get a chance. And Grunt Smurf, Roode is not boring. Just take that back. Love me the glorious Bobby Roode.
You talking about my man Bobby Roode?
Bobby has the. Can I pause and add another factor to this?
Go ahead, Marcus.
I'm going to say for the record, Vince McMahon has been right for all these years when he says wrestling doesn't draw. It's sports entertainment that draws. Because you need that whole spectacle of everything to actually draw. Like NXT, for what it's worth, put on the most fundamentally sound wrestling matches each and every week. But they cannot outdraw the millions of dollars and the spectacle that is AEW, where people are flying over in the kitchen and jumping off walls and throwing to tables, and Eddie King on the microphone. It's the sports entertainment factor that brings people in. It's not the sport. It's not the competitive edge. People don't care about what they do in the ring.
All right. Well said, Marcus. Well, let's take it outside the ring. Oh, go ahead, Lord Manny.
Also, fuck Chad.
Okay. Taking it outside of the ring. We'll touch on this briefly. It was a little bit of dissension between the African American wrestlers in the world, where Booker T on Twitter criticized Naomi instead of telling her to step up. She posted a response that signified that she didn't agree with him. They have later patched things up when the Twitter universe went after him. Wes, I know you want to speak on this. What did you want to speak on the Booker T Naomi situation?
Actually, I didn't. Well, let me just say this. Do you think by her being gone so long that she was trending when she came back? Because I felt like it was just a random match that she had with Lacey. People were kind of upset about their fight, like the way it all started.
I think more people were just upset that it was a karaoke segment, and WWE had gotten so far away from putting their women performers in this type of situation. To see it brought back, I think it put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And then it led to a fight between her and Lacey, who just became a bad guy all of a sudden. It didn't make sense.
And then Lacey laid her out.
Yeah, with the women's evolution. So.
Well, yeah, but I thought it was because they were tying her hair all on the ropes, and it was kind of like a stupid way to get beat up. Somebody tie got your hand in the ropes, and then they just kind of like knock you out. So
I like I said, I feel like people started to call out Booker T's black card, talking about he always criticizes black wrestlers and stuff like that. I'm like, sometimes criticism is what we need to be better. I mean, we need people to criticize this show so we can figure out what to do. But you also have to figure out that not all criticism is great criticism. You have to pick and choose what critiques you want to take, and you go from there. Speaking of criticism, jump into another realm.
Wait a minute.
What?
well,
I don't get to chime in on this,
Because I was gonna let you guys chime in on something else.
No, I want Marcus to repeat what the Boo Boo Baron said about about.
Go ahead. What did she say? What did he?
I can't believe you got away from me.
Oh boy.
Boy, I got a few points to make about this. One, I think Naomi is really good in the ring. I think she carries well, has a good character. But the number one thing with Naomi, I feel like her whole character, it needs that crowd and that party atmosphere. She's in that performance center and she's just in there glowing. And it's like, this is a small little thing. Two, did we lose Wes?
No. Why? Why do you say that?
He disappeared on my screen.
Wes just.
Oh, he did. So he dropped. But oh shit, everything is messed up. Marcus, keep talking. Why go find a right camera angle to have?
To quote Ryan, the Boo Boo Barrett about Naomi, is that she is nothing but Black Natty. That's all she is. She's a mid-carder in a women's division. I like Naomi. I think she's a fantastic wrestler and performer, but I don't see her being the main event. She's not the main draw. And the whole thing about give Naomi a chance, she was champion. She had the glow belt, which was one of the coolest alterations to a title in a while. Like, she's had opportunity, but then there's been times in which her opportunity was taken away because one of the Usos would get a DUI, and she would be taken off TV for that. So it's always a mix of things with her. I don't feel like Naomi has been treated, nor do I 100% agree with Booker T's comment. I feel like Naomi's in the spot she should be at. Should she be losing to Lacey Evans? Maybe. It's a 50-50 toss-up. They're in the same position. They're both in the mid-card of a women's division. I didn't feel she lost in a stupid way. It was just an easy heel thing in which she got tied up and then dropped. But it's 50-50 booking. I don't feel like it should be that big of a deal. But on the larger point, the fact that everybody goes at Booker T, or you sided with Naomi, or you sided with whoever, one of my arguments is that not all black people have to agree with black people. Like, if there's something that's wrong, if Booker T sees something wrong and he wants to critique Naomi in his own view of what he sees, he could be wrong or he could be right. It's just his opinion. And then everybody, I don't believe he should have a gaggle of people all of a sudden shitting on him for what he believes is the truth. Or vice versa, shitting on Naomi or whoever suggested give Naomi a chance, shitting on her for the truth. I just feel like everybody, there's a medium here, and wrestling fans don't know the work people put in behind the scenes, nor do, and it's a complicated scenario that is overcomplicated, I feel
now,
like.
Marcus, I have a question for you. Do you think that Naomi has been given a fair shot at being a leader in the women's division?
Well, no woman is technically getting a fair shot in that division unless you're one of the 4 horsewomen. They seem to be the only women. I mean, other than Asuka, who seemed to have broke through the 4 horsewoman thing because she's Asuka pretty much, no one has gotten that fair shake. It's there's been tons of women on the roster who hasn't had the opportunity that that Naomi had. Like, I feel like they all fit the same bunch. Carmella, Naomi.
Marcus. No, Marcus.
Even,
can I stop you real here because someone put a quick? I'm gonna put it up in the chat. J.K. Smush says all she does is glow though. There are no potatoes to her character. I don't know what potatoes mean, but I'm assuming it meant no points to her character.
There's no size. She's just a steak. She ain't got no size with her. She ain't got no depth.
I honestly agree with that because I feel like the women's division has moved past her in the sense where there's more people that are actually a lot more talented than her and actually have a character and know what they want to be. And I feel like Naomi. The only time I've actually seen anything from her on the mic was this week, ever, and that was just in retaliation to what people have been saying about her.
But can I argue and say, is that 100% her fault that she hasn't gotten the opportunity to express herself on the microphone as much? Like, they had to give her this segment. And not only that, to make sure people watch the segment, they threw in the Miz and John Morrison.
As music come in from someplace, I don't know where that came from. But it's Wes on the move, man.
You know, for Naomi, I feel like, as you say, she is just basically like a steak. Live for the Walmart. I see Wes is there. But
hold on, wait, there's going to be music that you're going to need to mute because we'll get copy strike.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't hear anything.
But with that being said, like the whole thing.
Hold on, one more thing to say, real quick.
You have so many.
It wasn't long.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot to say. This is a simple, man. It's come from my heart. Nah, but with that being said, Naomi is all steak and no potatoes and no size and no depth. But that's a lot of wrestlers today, I feel like, in which there are a lot of wrestlers that are extremely athletic in AEW and WWE, but they don't have any depth. A la Ricochet, a la, for me, Jungle Boy, or whoever, Cliff Garrison. I can't think of anybody right now, but I'm just saying that that's the problem with wrestling today is that they don't get that promo time and that depth. That's it. I'm done. I have more to say.
But let's just say like someone that was on a really bad run, like say like Ruby Riott, yeah, like before she got her win this week and then the tag win the week before, she was on a massive losing streak.
Yeah,
I didn't see no hashtags or anything for her because realistically, she's a better wrestler than Naomi.
Realistically, yes, but the thing about it is that I feel like Naomi has had opportunities, but I think what Marcus said earlier. Her character is extremely based off of a crowd. Her glowing and coming out to the ring, I don't know what Feel the Glow is, because what is the glow? She's never really explained what the glow is. Like you said, Manny, she hasn't spoke on the microphone until this week. So it's a mixed bag of worms when it comes to Naomi, because it's hard for me to say that WWE is holding her back when you have somebody like a Sasha Banks and a Bianca Belair or even a Bayley being pushed to the forefront of the women's division.
But is that because they are better at what Naomi does though? Because I believe they are. Everyone you've just listed are better on the microphone and in ring than Naomi.
I would agree.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Do you think her promo was bad or good?
It was okay.
Or just so-so?
No, it was good because it showed emotion. She hasn't shown any type of emotion, which is what I get on for Rey Mysterio all the time.
It came from her heart.
Let me tell you this. Right now, Naomi is nothing but the women's division version of Mustafa Ali, in which they glow a lot, they talk about the lot. Mustafa Ali is a better wrestler, whatever. But I'm saying they are the exact same characters. He's talking about the light. She's talking about the glow. And I believe they're talking about the exact same thing. What I think they need to do with Naomi is what they need to do with some of the black wrestlers. Since she ain't getting the chance, since she is 20, you put her in that New Nation. You put her in the Hurt Business. I know she's on a separate show in the Hurt Business. When you put Naomi in there and she start putting promos about emotion and saying fuck all this glow stuff and partying with all the time, I think you got something there.
You know, if the New Day was actually open to have new members, which they're not because they've said it multiple times because it wouldn't be the New Day anymore, Naomi probably would have fit in better with the New Day. Just the bright colors, the glow and all that. It probably would have been a better match. But you could even make her be healed to kick it with the Usos. Who knows what they can do? The last thing
I can't see her being a heel though, to be honest. Like
no.
Okay. With the last
she's too nice of a person.
So since we're talking about criticism, we don't know if this was a work or a shoot, but it was someone who had got criticized about his height this week on the Pat McAfee show, and apparently he has a spaz attack. That was former NXT World Champion and little guy all around, Mr. Adam Cole. Manny, I'm going to you. Did you think this was a work, or was this a shoot, or what did you think this is?
100% a work. 100% a work. Like, I don't even have anything else to say to it other than it was a work.
Well, that's not.
You could see him getting angry about it. They were throwing jabs at each other the whole way through it. It was like, there's two guys talking the shit to each other.
Marcus, total work. I know you told me this already.
To quote Rihanna, what, this is 100% at work. Because if you listen to the interview, they're just talking shit to each other and having a good time. And then the fact is that Adam Cole, that they were talking about him cheating with the Undisputed Era in matches. Pat McAfee knows wrestling isn't real. And Adam Cole knows wrestling isn't real. So the thing that started the argument of him saying you're a little short means nothing. It all meant nothing. And him calling himself putter, of course McAfee knows it. It's all a work.
All right.
But it was entertaining and it generated buzz for McAfee and Adam Cole.
Now, Wes, I turn to you. 2 questions for you. Is it a work or is it a shoot? And what are you buying in Walmart?
Well, I think it's a work because that dude said more curse words in like 5 minutes than I said all year. So I do think it's a work. And I'm about to get some eggs because I'm going to make some brownies later.
All right, some brownies, man. That's what I'm talking about. So, we've completed the news.
Eric, before we
Baking
move
with
on,
Okay.
I need to bring something up from the lumber chat. So
Baking with
it goes
eight.
back to Naomi, where El Luchador says trying to see Naomi clap them cheeks.
Yes.
Eric replies, "Ain't that the truth, El Luchador?"
Yes. Yes.
To which El Luchador said, "That's true," and then Eric then replies again, "I would come out of porn retirement for those cheeks."
Yes.
Really, Eric?
Yes.
I'm telling your wife.
She knows. I mean, what can I say?
Well,
my glasses are fogging up right now.
Hold on. Let me see your wife's list. I think it's Randy Orton, Ezekiel Jackson. Bobby, I think, made that list, huh?
No, who? Bobby who?
Lashley.
No. You got him confused with Moose.
Oh, Moose.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, yeah. Your wife has a type.
Yeah, she does.
Marcus, don't forget Kama Mustafa.
Oh, Kyle Mustafa. Probably Mr. Hughes.
No.
Mr. Hughes.
You know what? Fuck you. Who's next? Moving on. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw started off with the Monday Night Messiah. He understood that the match, what the I versus I match was, the results will live with him forever. Ray should have realized that his actions had consequences, but it was for the better good. And Rollins then fought Aleister Black and destroyed Aleister Black's hand afterwards. Marcus, was this a very good way to start off Raw, or did you think it didn't need to start off this way?
Well, you start off with the story that was trending the most from the pay-per-view, and that was the I versus I match, because that was everywhere, that Rey Mysterio lost his eye in a wrestling match. It generated the buzz they needed, so you need to start off with Seth talking about that and seeing the update of what happened to Rey Mysterio, so I was okay with the start.
What about the match overall?
What match? No, it was a solid match. I enjoyed it. It was fine.
Manny, I turn to you. Do you have anything to add to that, or can we get Wes's opinion and move on?
I feel like Seth was completely right. I don't know why everyone else decided to come out. It was Ray that decided on this stipulation. Like 100% Ray's fault.
The man was just
Yeah.
He was just fulfilling his obligation of trying to be the victor in this match. I agree. Wes, what about yourself?
Well, the issue that I had was during the match. Dominic was in the back. Like, this man is trying to poke out your father's eye. Why are you in the back?
Because Ray made the stipulation. No, but Ray made the stipulation. Like,
okay, Eric,
He
if you
didn't
had
say
a
he
son
couldn't be
in the
a
back
ringside.
and you were in an I versus I match versus Marcus, and your son didn't come out to help you, and knowing full well he was in the house and capable of stopping Marcus, would you still call him a good son?
well, you see, the problem is I would never put myself in that situation, Manny.
You got your stomach bit.
I did.
Stomach for a son.
The one thing I enjoyed about this was that Stone Cold Tom Phillips gave us a report of Rey Mysterio's eye. They used some type of medical term that no one would ever look up, and then they said that luckily Ray will get his vision back again soon. I was like, you guys didn't have to do the I versus I stipulation. You really didn't have to do that stipulation. But I digress. So the Hurt Business decided that they were going to the acquisition phase. They were confronted by R-Truth, and they said they were going to go down to the ring with the 24/7 champion. R-Truth was like, I'm not going to the ring with you. Then Shelton Benjamin popped up, took the 24/7 championship, found out that he's a new board member of the Hurt Business. They were celebrating the championship of MVP because Apollo no-showed and MVP felt he was still the champion, but Stephanie didn't want to touch that. Marcus, before we go further, how did you feel about...
She ain't stripping it away from a black man.
How do you...
She must have been taken away from us already. Stephanie ain't taking it away from us.
And before that happened, Ron Simmons was shown talking to them. Marcus, I know you were excited about this because you said, oh, the nation is coming back. How did this all play out for you?
I thought it was fine, and I really liked the subtle, like, Ron Simmons brought up to us, it's a better way, and you can do all that. It was something WWE hasn't did really in a while. I feel like that's plant a tiny seed of something that may come. It was a nice tease for something that may come. The one problem I have with the Hurt Business is that they're so old. Everybody's in their mid-40s in this group. Everybody. They really need to get some youth in there, and they really need to add Apollo to the group. And yes, you say Apollo is feuding with MVP. And but maybe he has convinced them, and that's why they can say Apollo hasn't been on TV and fight them, is that he isn't there.
Why are you being an ageist, Marcus? You shouldn't. Age ain't nothing but a number, man. Age ain't nothing but a number. Wes,
they old.
Are you a fan of the Hurt Business? Do you think they're too old to be involved in what they're being involved in?
Listen, I'm a fan of the Hurt Business, but why is it that the black guys got to be like, all right, well, you're going a little bit too far now? Like, no, I'm just getting started. Like, I don't need Ron Simmons coming to me and say, there's another way. No, let's bring the pain.
I think that they changed the direction of it because of the current situation across the world, and the Nation of Domination was primarily a heel faction, and I don't think the WWE as a public traded company want people to start thinking the black guys are the bad people.
That is a very valid point.
But you got Richard O'Shea and Cedric, whatever his name is,
the entertainer.
Are the drop black good guys. So
I mean, the thing about it, I thought that this segment was a very successful segment because I thought when Cedric Alexander and Richard O'Shea came out to the ring and they reintroduced Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali. I thought it was a very, very good debut for him. It felt like a big thing. Then it led to them getting the win over the Hurt Business. And then even afterwards on Raw Talk, Mustafa Ali took to the microphone and talked about the injustices and systematic racism stuff like. So I really enjoyed this segment as a whole. I was kind of hoping that Mustafa Ali would be the one that would join the Hurt Business, but Marcus is right. It's probably going to be Apollo Crews, but I think Ali being part of the Hurt Business would be something that I would enjoy.
Can I chime in?
You always want to chime in, babe. Just go ding dong. That's what you do all the time.
Hi, ding dong.
Yeah, I mean.
I wanted to respond to what you guys were saying about them being a heel faction. I believe Manny brought it up. But I feel like they could be a faction similar to the way the Hart Foundation were, in which they were Canadian heels in America. But I know this is always there American already, but I'm just saying. But in some eyes, they're seen as baby faces like in Canada.
So
I feel like they're still alive.
So you're going to have them be faces to black people and then heels to white people.
I am for that.
Marcus.
I know it's based on a race war, but it may be controversial. But me running a WWE, this will create so much buzz. As in,
Marcus,
this is the team to support.
it would create.
And I will get the black demographic. It may destroy the world as we know it.
Marcus,
but I'm for
Marcus, it would create dissension. On top of that, it would probably have Sean King post something on Instagram about WWE being deaf to what's going on in the real world. Marcus, I agree with Manny. You might have to pump the brakes. You got to pump the brakes on this situation, my brother. You got to.
I know, I understand. But when you have other other faces that are of color, like Bianca, the Street Profits, Naomi, Richard O'Shea, and Cedric the Entertainer, and R-Truth, we have all these other guys that are, faces. Just because you have one black heel faction does not mean every black person is evil. They didn't all join them. They could be the ones to tell them, hey, like Ron Simmons, you're going about this wrong. This is not the way to do this.
I mean, Marcus, the thing is though, it's like when you do this, you can paint yourself into the situation like the Angels did yesterday when Mr. Coonrod decided not to take a knee with the rest of the team because of his Christian beliefs. So now, he made it to that stage of, oh no, like this guy's an outcast. I just don't think if you're WWE, to quote the Street Profits, you don't want that smoke, man. You don't need that. You're already losing.
They do need that smoke.
No, you're already.
The ratings are going down.
No, to be honest, the ratings would go up, but then the levels of because you got to realize the people that are watching this, half of them are called Cletus and have guns.
Yeah,
and sport the Confederate flag, even though it's now banned in NASCAR.
It should be banned everywhere. It's the enemy flag, but. I'm glad you made it out of the Walmart safely, Wes. Appreciate it. I see the American flag at you as we talk about the American injustices in the world.
on a wrestling podcast. Wow.
On a wrestling.
It's Wes the Bounty. He wasn't actually at Walmart.
I don't know if I feel like this is almost a sense of reverse racism, in which black people can't get together and be evil together, but the Undisputed Era or the Forgotten Sons. All these white factions can just randomly get together.
Marcus, the Forgotten Sons have been forgotten again because of this exact same reason, Marcus. Marcus, I understand. I understand what you're saying. Marcus, you like to have some controversial things that take place in your entertainment. You really like that to happen. You want to have Dijakovic being a white nationalist. You want to have the black faction.
Dijakovic turned that shit around. Heath Lee is now his best friend. Okay, he is doing a full 180, and the person crying over his death was a black man. So Dijakovic, from being a white nationalist, has turned it all around.
But Marcus, I'm just saying, I just don't think we can have this in this country right now. It's the country is already too fragile. We have an election that's coming up, and Marcus, quite frankly, I feel that if Trump loses, it might be a damn civil war. That's how fragile things is, and
if Trump wins, it might be a civil war.
Marcus, it goes both ways, and I don't want professional wrestling to be that last bit of tipping point, that extra bit of seasoning. And Manny, we gonna move in if it's gonna happen. We all coming to your house.
I can imagine the questions about who are these black people? Why are they here? But they're my boys, man.
Mark.
That's Eric. That's Marcus. He knows at the grand finale. That's the Sharper wife. That's the Boo Boo Bear. He's gonna be here, but he's gonna disappear. It just would be.
Wes is here too.
Yeah. You're still on mute, Wes.
All of a sudden, Manny became Harriet Tubman.
Oh no! Oh no!
All the Sharpie Nation is living at Manny's house. In some underground basement. It's like that scene in Inglourious Basterds when they're hanging out under the ground and anyway, we're going too far.
But before we are going too far, Ron Simmons was also an equal opportunist. He spoke to the Viking Raiders too. Not really sure what he was talking to them about. But Marcus, you talked about people being too old in the Hurt Business, but I would also like to point out that Monday Night Raw was dominated by old stars, and Randy Orton being one of the focal points. I mean, he cut a promo that said his life changed when he hit Edge with that chair. He said Edge, Christian, and Big Show saved Orton from himself back in the day. However, he enjoys dealing pain to the Big Show, and he will be punted tonight. Christian then chimed in via satellite, another old dog, and said that, you know what, because of Randy and Flair, he will never be the same. But if he was given the same opportunity, he would do it again if it meant that he could stop Randy Orton. Once again, Randy Orton is like a vow. Like, everyone wants to put an end to Randy Orton. And then, eventually you get to the main event where Big Show and Randy have a old school match. And it's a good match. And at the end of it, Randy Orton punts Big Show, and Big Show's eliminated too. Wes, I don't know what you're surprised about, but speak on this, my brother. Speak on it.
First of all, I didn't even watch this match because I'm tired of the Big Show running out there with the 97-year-old self to do what? You get in a fight that's not even about you. Like, you taking up for your buddy Edge, supposedly, and Christian, who I don't understand that. If I could do it again, I would do it the same way, and then you won't get beat up again. Like that don't even make sense. That's not even logical.
So did you?
What legend would you rather have Randy Orton kill other than the Big Show? Because I was happy to see him kill the Big Show.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy that the Big Show got beat down, and maybe the legends are kind of scarce right now. But I mean, who else is out there? You're not going to beat up JBL.
But
you can't beat up one of the Bella twins. I guess the Big
Wes,
Show.
I have to interrupt here in this situation, Manny. I'll let you speak, but I need to say this real quick: is that they laid the foundation for this feud and this destruction because Big Show cut a promo and said the main reason why he was here is that because he never wanted that sadistic side of Orton to return ever again. When they were on the road together, they were known as the Hammer and the Chisel. I don't know what that meant, but they were the Hammer and the Chisel.
They called themselves that.
And he said he knows that this could be the end of the Big Show, but he needed to do everything that he could to make sure that sadistic Randy Orton would never reign again. He still got punted.
I'm not putting no respect on the Big Show name. I'm going to call him Paul. When you want to talk about what Paul's doing, then we're going to talk about what Paul's doing.
Manny, what were you going to say earlier before Eric cut you off?
I'm just like, why did you got to bring up JBL like that? JBL is perfectly happy on the kickoff show. Leave him alone. He's got giraffe masks on the kickoff show for no reason. He's got samurai swords behind him. If Randy even came, that clothesline from hell would come back and kill Randy Orton.
You know, Manny, you're correct. JBL has the most bizarre background death set I've ever seen. The giraffe, the samurai sword, and some type of religious statue that I don't know what it was.
I think that's a samurai, Eric.
Oh, it could have been.
It's a statue of a samurai.
Marcus?
Let that man live his best life. I bet you he's playing the game Ghost and everything. He's living a samurai
I will be playing
lifestyle.
Ghost after I watch baseball. I'm excited.
So why'd you throw it to me?
What?
I said my piece.
You did? So let's move on. Ruby Roddy.
Oh, no, I didn't. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I enjoyed Big Show and Orton. That's all I got to say.
All right.
I enjoyed Big Show and Orton.
Ruby White.
And I feel like it's just lead up to him killing Ric Flair. Kill Ric Flair.
Well, you know who's the next legend he's killing?
Ric Flair is immortal. He cannot be killed. He was in a coma for how many days, and he still did not die. He's like,
his wife has
he will not
COVID.
die.
Ding dong, his wife has COVID too. Few said the word.
With that being said, Ruby Riott defeated Peyton Royce in her first victory on national TV for a long time, which is why she cried. The Street Profits defeated Garza and Andrade. That led, but the Street Profits attacked Andrade and then beforehand.
Wait. Are you going to gloss over the greatest frog splash of all time?
Go ahead, Marcus. Speak on the greatest frog splash of all time.
It's the greatest frog splash of all time. That height, that 180 turn, and that landing, it was perfect. It was perfect. Greatest.
Marcus, I think we have to rename that frog splash to the 6-star frog splash because it's better than RVD's.
Yeah, it was 2 times better than RVD, so I called it 7-star frog splash. It's ridiculous. He's the best athlete in the game, and I can't wait for Montez to go solo. Maybe he turns on Angelo.
Come on, man.
Maybe he turns on Angelo and he joins the Hurt Business and he plays the role of The Rock and disrupt the Hurt Business one day. That's what I'm hoping for Montez.
Where's the respect for Angelo?
You know, Angelo, he's lost weight, and some of his moves are looking a lot better than they have in a long time. So I do give him mad respect. I mean, happy belated birthday to Dawkins. You know, you got a child and you 30 now. Welcome to the big leagues, my brother. Sasha and Bayley.
Big leagues? You're in a whole different league.
Manny, I still remember what it feels like to turn 30. Damn it.
Ed, you're in the Hurt Business Club.
Yes.
You're in the Hurt Business Club.
Wow.
You're in that age demographic.
You got 4 years to go, Marcus. So Sasha and Bayley, they celebrated. They celebrated their championship, and Bayley said that she had to do what she had to do. Once she saw Asuka unjustly spit miss into the referee eye, she knew someone had to make the count. That's why her actions led to where it led to. Stephanie interrupted and said, you not the champion, but they still didn't take the belt off of Sasha Banks. Lord Manny, how do you feel about this entire situation?
At first I was really annoyed at Extreme Rules because there was no authority figure to like put this straight on the night. But then it made sense as it went into Raw, and then you've got Bailey going back and forth at Stephanie McMahon on Twitter, and various other things. It made complete sense. I get it.
Bailey's backtracking of I didn't mean that. Stephanie was one of the most hilarious tweets that I saw.
Yeah, exactly.
Marcus, what about you? Sasha's still the champion, and she was looking good with that title on SmackDown.
Sasha is not the champion.
She's my champion.
She has the belt. She's the champion.
Thank you.
She can buy that belt.
Sasha's actually got her belt plates on that title now as well.
I wish they would have added a little detail in which on SmackDown, Michael Cole would have just said, "You bought that title on WWE Shop with the plates. Asuka was returned her belt on Raw. You need to stop pretending to be champion. This is ridiculous."
That would have made,
because she's not the champion.
You know what? That would have made Michael Cole even the bigger hater that he's already is, because he does not like Banks and Bailey.
So,
Well,
I have a question. Who's giving their belt back first, Sasha or Tessa?
Sasha.
Well, Tessa won $150,000 for her belt.
Yeah.
She can kiss my ass.
Apparently that story's been embellished quite a lot. Because they've only just given her the address to post it to recently.
I enjoy that story though. I wanted to be that. I want Tessa to be the worst human being possible. With that being said, I enjoy the golden role models. Like, they're my favorite part about wrestling. For Raw, when they were declaring themselves champion and Sasha's waving around like she's champion, I thought they did the I would say the heelest thing in wrestling ever. Because I think they pissed off everybody with that finish at Extreme Rules. That Bailey just counted the belt like they were high on cocaine and declared themselves champion, and I felt like that was good heel heat.
It didn't piss me off. I enjoyed the finish, but that's just me.
That was good. It was something you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, and I was like, why not? Like, I did not hate on it like everybody else did. And then many people are saying this was Kairi Sane's farewell match, but she got a win over the WWE champion Bailey. Congratulations to Kairi on that win.
Again, in MVP logic, Kairi Sane's the SmackDown champion, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. So, I guess it's that time of the show where you guys think I'm going to rant and rave, and I'm not. I'm going to stay calm and collected because I have a baseball game to watch in about an hour. It's now time to...
so it's convenient for you now. So you have to change your rant.
Ready. Even within this hour. I don't believe we're going to finish within an hour. There is no way. I got AEW finishing at 12:36, and then we're going to SmackDown and to listen to feedback. We'll be done by 2 p.m.
Before
covered NXT yet.
Before I get to AEW, did anybody take some time out of their day and look at what Impact was doing on Tuesday?
Yes.
I thought Impact did a solid show. I thought that it was one thing that was missing from the show that can't believe I'm going to say I thought this was missing, and that is the random people in the audience. It's like they are still stuck in time while everybody else has this crowd reaction. The Motor City Machine Guns came back and defeated arguably who I think is one of the best or better tag teams in wrestling, the North, and it really disappointed me. EC3 made a return and attacked the TNA champion, which they don't acknowledge as a real championship, Moose. And then EY showed up. And then Willie Mack lost to Chris Bay, who does not know how to pour champagne, which really upset me. If he's the king of finesse, if you can't pour champagne in the glass bottle, you ain't shit to me. So he's off my wagon.
So much foam. The one thing that I don't agree with Impact. Eddie Edwards is not my champion. I just don't care about him. And when EY came out there and was talking like a madman to him, I was like, tell him EY. Tell him Eric Young. Cuss him out. And I believe, they need to put respect on, like you said, the North's name as being one of the top tier tag teams in the business, as well as the Motor City Machine Guns, who still got it. They pulled a hell of a match and they stayed within the rules. I enjoyed Impact. It wasn't the greatest show. I even enjoyed the Virtuoso's promo in the back as being all of a sudden declared she's the greatest technical wrestler of all time because of this.
And then Kaylee Ray interrupted and things like that. Also, the Good Brothers debuted. There was things I did not understand, quite frankly. Rob Van Dam and his girl who's apparently is going to show more of her body next week. I don't know what that meant.
Draw me.
And then
Draw the view.
And then they did.
I heard that they plugged her OnlyFans on.
Yeah, they
They
plugged
did. They did.
They did.
And then the wrestling house, which it was Rosemary and Bravo. They were in the house with each other, and the next thing you know, everybody else started showing up. Oh, Kiera Hogan and Edwards. I can't remember. They were good. So I like Impact. Probably was my favorite show of the 3 shows this week. Yes, I said it.
What?
Yeah.
You hate fucking him so hard. It's ridiculous.
Anyway, AEW started off hot with Eddie Kingston challenging Cody Rhodes for his title shot. Wes, I'll turn to you because you put a finger up in the air. If you want to comment on Impact and then comment on that match, feel free.
Well, after we do AEW, I want to mention something about AEW Dark because I did watch that.
Okay. So Cody Rhodes and Eddie Edwards, was this a good way to start off the show?
I thought that was a guy with Jericho at first. I didn't recognize him. I just, not to be racist, I just saw this Mexican looking dude.
Oh,
I was like, what's he doing out there? I guess he's fighting Cody.
Well, he's Puerto Rican, I believe. Most of the guys that you're referring to are Puerto Rican.
It's not to be racist, but you know,
Yeah,
I was
okay.
like, oh, that's that dude, and then I looked at him. I was like, that's not him. But I thought it was a solid match.
I mean, normally when someone says not to be racist, you're usually about to be racist in this situation. Manny,
Not to be racist.
But
so Cody Rhodes defended his title against another outside opponent, Mr. Kingston. What did you think of the opening match?
I enjoyed it. Mostly I enjoyed it. I mostly enjoyed the fact that he cussed out. He kept cussing out Arn Anderson. And I feel like you have to do that. As I said on Thursday on the Untitled Manny and Marcus show.
Marcus, I turn to you to close to possibly be the setup guy before the closer comes in. How did you feel about this opening match?
What I felt was going on here is that it told a self-contained story within this block that him and Cody had. And it was really good. It was the best TNT title match we've gotten and best contender we've gotten. And it started off hot with him cutting this promo and seeing like a desperate man who had to sell his boots and I believe he had to mortgage his house and do everything he could just to even get here today. And just to fight for this title, and he fight for his job, and he pleaded with Tony Khan to make it with no DQ, and he beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes. And the only thing that cost him was his knee, which he was selling the whole time. He just raised his stock higher, and this is what this title is doing for indie wrestlers, elevating, is really giving these guys an opportunity. Hopefully, someone did see this, and they offer Eddie Kingston the money, because I've seen Eddie Kingston over for years. This is the same guy. It's the same guy. Same promos. Same wrestling ability. It's the same guy. Maybe this will be this big money moment. It seemed like this gave him a lot of momentum.
As Marcus said, it does elevate the Indies talent, and I believe that is one positive of the situation. However, for me, although I thought it was a solid match for the first time I thought Cody Rhodes was going to lose, I still think it's, not doing much for their own roster, where people on their roster is not getting an opportunity at this title, especially when you go later on the night where you have people touting about their undefeated record, and I'm just like, well, he is a champion, so why doesn't MJF get a title shot? What about Darby Allin? What about even the FTW champion? I'm just saying, I think Warhorse or Warhawk is fighting Cody next week. Don't know who he is. He looks like T-Hawk from Street Fighter. They might have a good match, but I don't know.
Can I pause to say the unknowing is the best part about this? Is that you don't know who's coming out next. It's very Royal Rumble-ish, but in match form, in which you don't know who's going to fight Cody next. And I'm open to that. I like that.
Okay.
I do like that. I don't know who's coming out next, and it's giving all these guys opportunities. And it is a showcase. It's better than watching him wrestle these non-wrestlers they have on the roster. These no talents that they have on their roster. Like, I don't want to see Cody and Jungle Boy. He had the match with Sonny Kiss. I didn't need him and Mark Quinn. Like, all these other matches, I don't care about who they have on their roster. I'm more intrigued about the people they don't have on their roster and why aren't they on that roster. Like, Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston have been the best people they have brought in, and they didn't even have him on the contract.
Ricky Starks is under contract now.
He is now, but he wasn't in time of the match.
All right, so speaking of Ricky Starks, Jon Moxley cut a promo. This promo really, I didn't care for it because I thought that he was moving on from Brian Cage, but he says next time he fights Brian Cage, he's going to rip his arm off. I don't want to see these guys fight again at all. I don't want nothing to do with this. They need to find him another competitor for the title. But that's about all I have to say. Marcus, I'll turn to you. Mox and Brian Cage, you still want them to be dealing with each other in this situation?
No, he's over. He beat him to the end of his life. He almost ended his career once. He's gonna end his career next time. It is over. Mox needs to move on to a real main event opponent. I do not believe in Brian Cage. Brian Cage bores me. He has no personality. He has the FTW belt, and when he needs to just hand that over to Eddie Kingston, who's the true fuck the world championship, because he literally came out here and was like, fuck the world and Arn Anderson too.
Preach, Marcus. Wes, do you have something to chime in on that?
I was gonna say, so who would you consider a main event competitor for Moxley right now?
I honestly believe you have, and I know he's already went through some of these people, the Brodies and the Murder Hawk, but those feel like main event guys, and also MJF. They feel like the main event guys. Everybody else feels like a joke. And if the Luchasaurus stopped being a goddamn Luchasaurus, he could be a main event player. But he's a damn Luchasaurus. Grow the hell up.
Lord,
leave them kids alone.
Lord, I'll turn to you to close things out. What do you feel?
I just feel like it's a bit hard to get into their world title picture scene because it's always a one and done match and then they move on to the next person. It's never a full flowing story. It's always let's get to the match, done with, and it's over, and they never really interact again afterwards. That's with everyone that he's faced. So like Jericho,
Omega,
but I don't think he fight. I don't even think he fighted Omega for a title.
It just exists.
Yeah, and then Brody Lee, and then now Brian Cage. It's just like it's one and done. It's very short type of feuds where it's like we do a month segment and that's it. Whereas like normally a world title thing would go about 2-3 months. Like a whole kind of story.
And
unless you're Bobby Lashley.
And that's where I agree with you in that situation. I feel like I wish they would invest as much time as they invest into the TNT championship that they do with the AEW championship. But I also think that maybe Moxley is not the guy that can walk around like Cody does, because arguably Cody to me feels like more of a champion than Jon Moxley does. But
I go back to like I saw a post on the Mid-Card Mess where it was talking about Cody's run as TNT champion. I think that's like he's actually done wonders for the talent that he's been facing. Whereas like if you go back to the tournament where it could have been the Murder Hawk that had been champion, all those matches would have been squash matches just to get the Murder Hawk over. So I think they've went the right direction with Cody, and Cody's actually doing quite well with it, even though we see it more as the world heavyweight title rather than Jon Moxley at this moment.
No, so my question is, couldn't AEW have done better if they would have never had pigeonholed themselves, kind of like WWE did with the I versus I match, with the whole stipulation that Cody could never challenge for the AEW championship? Because I think ideally, this is what you would want for your AEW champion to do, is to build the title up and make it feel as important that people from outside of your company are coming to fight for this title. And you know, that's what I feel like the championship should be. I don't think Moxley gives me that feeling. Wes, looks like you're thinking about saying something.
I was going to say, if Moxley's a champ, can't he come and say, listen, I know we had the stipulation, but after stipulation, I want to challenge you belt for belt, whatever, and let's see who's the real champ around here. Like, out of everybody that could do that, he could do that.
Possibly, but I would think since Jericho is the one that made the stipulation, he would probably have to be the one that says, "Hey, I'll let you fight for the title."
Jericho ain't the champ though. But Jericho's not the champ now.
I thought it was MJF that made that stipulation.
No, who did it? It was Cody that made the stipulation on himself.
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah, he did.
Cody put that on himself. He said, if I don't beat you, Jericho, and he was talking about how, management and his father and Cowboy Bill Watts, they all were management, and they fought for the title, and then he swore he would never compete for the title again if he don't win it this time. So he only put it on himself. This is only his own stipulation. This isn't even actually a rule. He can just break it. If he turns heel and say, I was bullshit. I was bullshit. Maybe I was bullshitting. But that's all he has to say.
Well, I mean, that's one way to look at it.
I just feel like Mox gets zero time on their show. he has at least a total of max of 2 minutes on every single show. And I feel like Brock Lesnar in his title run has been featured more on TV than Jon Moxley has been on TNT, because he just shows up, he cuts either a promo that's 30 seconds or less, and then he'll run out this week with a bat with barbed wire on it, and then his segment is over, and they never talk about him again. As opposed to Jericho, Cody, or even whoever the hell else, the Jurassic Express, they seem to get more time than Jon Moxley.
Well,
I have no idea what Jon Moxley is in AEW.
MJF decided to make his own time when he fought Jungle Man, a.k.a. Griff Garrison. He decided, you're not going to give me time to talk. I'm going to talk during this match. For me, the first thing when I saw Jungle Man, I was like, I would rather see Jungle Boy and Jungle Man as a tag team than the Jurassic Express. That could just be me in this situation. Manny, I turn to you in this situation.
No, I want to turn to you first before you even turn to me.
Okay, turn to me then.
Why are you so invested in Griff Garrison?
It's because
You were so invested. You text us about it. You even brought it up on Thursday when you were in the Lumber Chat. Why are you so invested?
Because it's like one of the greatest vintageous wrestling names ever. Griff Garrison, hailing from parts unknown. Like, I just love the name. He was a bad wrestler, but the name was... They wasted Griff Garrison. Mark, if I became a wrestler, I could be Griff Garrison.
No, you can't.
Double G.
He took it. He's the Ivy League. He's the Ivy League, whatever they said he was. But if you watch AEW Dark, he's been on there. Only reason I know is because I watched Botchamania. But Taz has messed up this dude's name. And he just criticized him because he's on commentary. He's like, he's the Ivy League something. But Taz said, my note says he didn't even go to an Ivy League. He didn't even go to an Ivy League. He went to, I forgot, he went to some school, I would say Charleston or something. That's not an Ivy League. That's not Princeton. That's not Yale. Screw this guy. He's a joke. He's lying. But, so I think it's subliminally into your mind that Griff Garrison, because MJF says his name a million times when he was beating his ass.
And the only reason why he was beating his ass is because he said that he lost the match. And technically, Wardlow lost that match. Just to get it right. It wasn't MJF. Overall, this match didn't really do anything for me. And this is where AEW started to tail off into like, oh boy, what are we watching right now?
I was okay with this. I was okay with this. My problem is that they haven't brought back the Wardlow and MJF somewhat beef.
Well, they have not brought back any dissension. It's like there's no follow-up to their storylines. It's like each week is a new reset.
Like Arn and Kenny Omega, nobody had no follow-ups to kind of their heel turns or like, because Cody went full heel last week. There was no thing, and then Kenny Omega beat the shit out of Marco Stunt. There is no follow-up whatsoever. Like, I would like to get a word with Kenny about why did you punch Marco Stunt like 8 times in the head after the match.
Well, the follow-up that we got was that Britt Baker got some nose surgery, and I guess it's because of what Swole did, and then Swole cut a promo from her couch, and I'm like, I don't understand what we're doing in this situation. It just
whoa. You're putting this in a better order than what it actually was.
I know. I just think
the way this worked out is Britt Baker gave a description of her conspiracy theory, which I enjoyed. And her talking about why she had to get a nose job or whatever. And I look forward to seeing a ridiculous nose on her next week when it's revealed. Then Ivelisse fought Diamante in a debuting match.
Hey, Marcus, can you stop doing my job? Because I have a specific order that I want to talk about stuff.
You jumped into Big Swole on the couch.
Because it was in relation to Britt Baker, Marcus. It had a relation.
In the Ivelisse Diamante
But
match.
if you draw a line, Marcus, I'm the host right here. Let me do my job. You have your job on Tuesdays and Thursday at the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. Let me do my job. Let me navigate the ship, baby. Let me take the reins. You take your hat out and just relax. Relax. All right. So, we're going to talk about something that I did enjoy. Then we're going to talk about what I did enjoy afterwards. For what it was worth, the match between the Young Bucks and the Butcher and the Blade was an enjoyable spot fest. But it was a spot fest that the Young Bucks decided to interrupt Butcher and Blade while they were doing their second job. just because I know people have already heard what Lord Manny and the grand finale have said because they watch on Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to let Wes speak on things real quick to represent the Lumberjack. What did you feel about this Spot Fest?
So I felt like it was kind of rude for them to come in there and interrupt the men. They could have been making school lunches for the kids. You know, you don't know what they were doing in there. So, I mean, actually, the spots in the kitchen was actually, you know, pretty nice.
On your meat.
I saw Eric look up for that. Eyebrow went up when he said meat on meat.
Oh, wow.
I'll let you know that. but no, I thought it was actually a pretty good match. Have the Butcher and Blade won anything recently?
No, they haven't won a damn thing.
No, wait a minute. They won with the Lucha Bros when they originally stole the car. That 8-man tag, they won. That's the only match they've ever won.
Oh, okay. I think they're one step up from the Dark Order as far as credibility right now. That's all I got.
All right, Manny.
The Dark Order's the number one contender, though. The Dark Order's the number one contender.
As Marcus keeps wanting to talk, I'll let you speak first, Manny. The Young Bucks, Butcher and Blade.
If you challenge me a match and I have a knife in my hand and it's a false count anywhere match where there's no rules, I'm stabbing a man. I don't care.
Wait,
They had butcher knives in their hand.
Is there any
Their
truth?
name is the Butcher and the Blade.
Is there any truth to the fact that false count anywhere match is a no rules match?
Yes.
Well, not always, but I
Pretty
feel
much.
like it always turns out to be that.
Okay. And Marcus, since Manny wants to stab a motherfucker, how do you feel about this match?
I 100% agree with Manny. Why was there no murder in this match? There should have been a Matt Jackson being axed up. For one, the Young Bucks are complete dicks coming in the middle. They know the Butcher and Blade handled the meat in Jacksonville. All the meat in Jacksonville is cut up by them. And that they were back there working shift. They normally are at ringside watching the show with Sheeta, ex-girl, but they couldn't do it this week because they had to cut up all the meat. They had to put meat on meat. And say they were busy working. Matt Jackson, because he's a EVP or a vice president, whatever the hell he is, decides I'm going to be a dick and start a match, false count anywhere at any time before they're even ready. So if I have my knife in my hand and you're going to start a match right now, like Manny said, it's chitty chitty bang bang. I'm cutting you up.
On.
See,
It's on. And like you said, it was a Spot Fest, and they need to put respect on the Butcher and Blade's name. There is no respect on their name. Like the Young Bucks can take a million different bumps by them, but it doesn't matter. The Butcher did that crossbody into little ass 90-pound Matt Jackson. That would have killed any 90-pound little kid in the world. But Matt Jackson got right back up and they beat him. I'm so sick of seeing the Butcher and the Blade lose. I'm so sick of the Young Bucks making themselves seem that much far superior than every other tag team other than FTR. It's bullshit. The
Blade also got injured, missing the table on that.
Yeah, he
spot.
knocked himself out. God damn it, Blade.
I just want to
That part made me laugh. I was like, oh god.
I mean, as I point out, and you guys pointed out everything wrestling related that I thought was spot on. Your opinions were great. I just got to I have to point out something that's extremely petty for me. If the Butcher and Blade are working in the cafeteria and they are in charge of cutting all the meat for AEW, can I have more than two little small ass pieces of meat that they're butchering? Like, that was the most pathetic butchering array I've ever seen. It was two grown ass men cutting up, looks like what it could have been a sirloin cut of meat. I need to have a whole big pig up in there. I need a boar. I'm just saying. I want some butchering going.
They were at the end of their shift, Eric. They knew they had a match later. They were wrapping up.
Marcus,
they were wrapping up.
Marcus, there was no box for the meat to go into, Marcus. They just had two fillets right there. It was just two fillets.
I'm upset they didn't throw the meat at the Young Bucks. If you're not going to stab somebody, throw some meat at them.
So,
Throw some meat at them.
you know what? Yes, throw a steak at somebody. Marcus, Grunge Smurf said you in here and you're really mad and really angry. Seems like you are.
I'm an angry person.
So
I am angry. I have lost my title. And I have to put up with shit where the Butcher and the Blade loses every week when I respect their game and respect their gangster as a tag team.
So now let's move on to things that I don't like, and we don't have to spend much time. Go ahead, Wes.
One question for the health and safety and I guess sanitariness, which is not a word. Where were their hairnets? They have nothing.
They had no hairnets. I'm not sure if they had aprons on. Well, at least the Butcher did. It was.
Blade doesn't have hair.
didn't
I'm not
even
eating
have
that.
shirts on.
They didn't have shirts on. I don't know what type of meat festival that was, man. I guess they were going meat on meat.
Eric said meat festival.
A meat festival,
Meat on
man.
meat.
Meat on meat.
A sausage fest.
Moving on. So
Kind of like most AEW shows.
Title of his sex tape.
I will point out that Taz doing all the talking for Brian Cage again. Nothing was fixed. No, even all the criticism that Brian Cage and Taz has had about their relationship, they went and did the same damn thing. The cameraman is showing Taz talk. I need Brian Cage and I need Taz off my television. Marcus, no, I'll go to Wes. Wes, are you buying the Cage and Taz relationship?
No. And let me say this. I know Cage was in TNA. In fact, whatever. Before he came to AEW. And I thought that he cut his own promos. He was just him by himself. So he seemed like he can't talk now, that he has nothing to say. And Taz is like Marcus. He's like real hyped up right now with his monogram FTW towels. It's not.
Excuse me, over here it's FTC, my friend. FTC.
Fuck the chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck the chat.
So yeah, when I become champ, I'm getting a monogram towel. This man, just to let you know that. Okay, good.
And then afterwards, like AEW Dark, it's been an unholy alliance of Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. So when Darby Allin comes out to interrupt, Ricky Starks attacks Darby Allin, and then Mox makes the save, and then right then, instantaneously, nothing was even marinating, nothing was even, you didn't even make it to commercial break yet. They announced that next week it's going to be Darby Allin and Mox going against Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. And that's something that really annoys everything about me to death in AEW, is that these matches are just announced right then and there. Let me get a commercial break first. Marcus, you're doing the eye roll, so I'll turn to you.
I was?
Yeah, you was.
Control your face, sir.
Yeah, control your face, brother.
I don't remember. I don't even know what I roll.
You got a loose face.
All right, whatever. I'll do it again, I guess. I don't know. But I thought we talked. Brian Cage ain't shit. I'm done with him. Darby Allin knocked himself out, I believe, on the show, or was it on Dark? I don't know. Ricky Starks knocked his ass out. I could care less about what they're gonna do. It's gonna be Falls Count Anywhere next week or Tornado. It doesn't matter. They don't follow tag team rules anyway. Maybe they just go with all Tornado tag matches. I don't care.
And Manny, take us home.
If you get beat up by a man wearing loafer sandals, Ricky Starks, I'm looking at you. Don't turn up to work ever again, because that's just embarrassing.
Well, he beat up a guy in booty shorts.
Well, Marcus, I want to let you know. Manny.
I feel like that they cancel each other out.
I just want Marcus. Manny ended it great, and you just had to chime in. You just always got to put that little bit of extra. Manny closed out the segment, Marcus, and I'm about to give you something to rant about, Marcus. So, yes, I am, because I already know. What you know what? You might not rant, but Manny might rant. I'm not sure, but I'm about to set this up and lob it. So, we had the debut of Ivelisse going against Diamante.
Oh, I am going to.
Diamante defeated Ivelisse, but before that was happened, they announced, as I like to call, let's put gold around Brandy Rhodes, the Deadly Draw Tag Team Tournament Cup for women. And,
so angry.
And the thing about this is that the announcer said during the Diamante Ivelisse match, oh, they're probably going to be a tag team in this Deadly Draw Brandy Rhodes Invitational to be champion Tag Team Tournament Cup match. Marcus, I turn to you. Is this the biggest farce in wrestling, Marcus, that they're forcing Brandy Rhodes and now Allie down our throat to become tag team champions in this? Well, no, it's not even title matches. It's just a tournament.
It's an outrage. And to quote Stephen A. Smith, it's a damn disgrace that they're doing this tournament. They don't even have women. They don't have women to do a tournament. They have 4 women on their roster. Before Diamante and Ivelisse shut up, there was 4. Big Swole suspended. Nyla Rose, they advertised for the tournament. Who's she gonna team with? Vicky Guerrero? She was already the champion. Statlander's injured. Britt Baker's injured. She can't team with Reba. I mean, And then the women they have, what, they gonna dig up Abaddon and Anna Jay? Are they gonna team together? They don't have a division. And TNA, the most innovative and diverse company that ever exists, had their women's tag team titles first. But they made the mistake when they only had one women's tag team. The WWE finally does their tag team titles. They don't have a tag team division. They dug up the Iconics were formed already. That was like their only tag team. But somehow they made it work and they made other tag teams. But they have never cared about tag team wrestling. For a company that plans to care about tag team wrestling, you do not do this soon when your women suck at wrestling. Your women suck.
And
all of them.
And Marcus, the originators was the knockout tag team champions in Impact. And this week on Impact, when they had the match of Havoc versus and her tag team partner going against Kiera Hogan and Edwards, they made mention of that. Oh, we may possibly revive the TNA Knockout Championships. They didn't say they were going to bring it back, but they suddenly brought it back. I just want to point out that in AEW, the approach is we're going to force Brandy and Allie to team together. They're going to get some victories on AEW Dark. They're going to have one match on Dynamite. Then all of a sudden, there's the Deadly Draw women's tag team title match. Wes, I'm going to go to you now. What do you... go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, I think you guys are missing out on the simplest thing. You said wrestling copies off of each other. Brandy and Allie are just a generic version of Sasha and Bayley. That's all they are. With no championships.
Yeah, but there was more of a connection with Sasha and Bayley as they had history, whereas these two have no history, have no talent.
But you gotta get that interaction. So they don't like each other. You ain't seen QT Marshall in about like 4 months. So they had a vignette on Dark with Dustin working Brandy and Allie out, and they stopped the workout when somebody came over and asked them a question, and then they just start fussing, and Dustin and the other girl just walked away.
But you see, Wes,
that's all they are.
The problem with this is that in AEW, and it's 12:36. Damn you, Marcus, you're right. In AEW, this is not.
And we're not done.
This is not the first time. This is not the first time that they've tried to get Brandy over in something that was perceived for her to achieve. Do we remember the Nightmare Collective? Lester showed up for no good reason. And I just feel like
Luther, not
Lester, Luther, it don't matter. It just seems like this is all a clever ploy to let Brandy get that spotlight that WWE wouldn't let her have. And they made her a ring announcer. And Marcus, you've already spoken. I'm going to the commissioner, Lord Manny. Lord Manny, speak on this real quick. So, because Marcus is going to cut you off again.
What were you going to ask me?
I don't know. Are you sick of this Brandy being shoved down your throat?
I think she should have just stayed a ring announcer, to be honest, or stayed a manager, because it takes time to be good at what you're doing, and if you're going to just force it to us, we're really going to just turn on it straight away, and we're already doing it.
Well, no, Manny. Difference is that we're not AEW loyalists like Chad. We are probably AEW critics, and so we reject all of this. And Marcus, do you have something else before go ahead, Wes?
No, I was looking at Marcus. I'm like, you all right, Marcus? I don't know what you're doing over there.
We don't like that, Chad.
Yeah, we were saying we don't like those chats. There was in fact, I'm calling every AEW loyalist or ass kicker or bootlicker AEW. They're a bunch of chats.
All right.
They're a bunch of chats. But that wasn't what I was gonna say. And you can rant on Brandy all you want. I can care less about that, Eric. I'm more upset. This is what I wanted to rant about. Evil East versus Diamante. The disrespect. The disrespect of this match. They give us no package on who these women are. They have their match. They do an NBA ad. They cut the Big Swole on her couch. None of these people talk about that. Then they start recapping AEW Dark in the middle of their match. And suddenly that match is over. And we learn nothing about these wrestlers. We don't get to see Eva Lise, who I know I'm familiar with more from Lucha Underground. I know she's in Tough Enough, whatever. But I really enjoy Eva Lise. Diamante, I know her from somewhere. I think Manny brought she had LAX on her thing. She was a part of LAX and Impact at some point. I don't remember, but I remember the name or something. I remember her. But they gave us nothing, no context between these women other than they may be in a tag team match or some shit. I thought this was absolute disrespect, and this would never happen on any other wrestling program. The disrespect that these women got. I'm just saying, they were treated completely wrong and done a complete disservice.
Well,
they got nothing.
They had no loyalties with Cody, because if you have loyalties with Cody, you get the package like Anna Jay did, and then Anna Jay lost.
Yeah, but we haven't seen Anna Jay for a while now because she's been taken away by several white men in Florida.
But if you watch, the,
I am still looking for the body.
If you watch the package when they announced the women's tag team title, they featured her a lot. Like she had multiple, like at least 5 different camera shots. That could just be for the lack of women in their division.
That's old footage, Eric.
I mean, it's
That's
true.
Old footage.
Since you did bring up the Dark Order tried to recruit Adam Page when he fought 5. I just didn't. Why would anybody join Brody Lee and his band of goons? I didn't like any. FTR made the save. Kenny Omega was late. It's just a bad job of storytelling, in my opinion. Does everybody agree? Can we just move on?
I like Brody Lee's suit. Move on.
All right. Also, the Murder Hawk murdered 3 guys in a locker room who could have fought because he's tired of being disrespected. I vote again to move on from this also. Can we vote to move on?
At least he didn't beat up just a random black guy this time.
That is also true.
That's true.
So, I have a question. If you a jobber and you come to work, and I would be like, hey, is the Murder Hawk working tonight? Because I'm going to get like a pipe or something. Because I know at some point you don't come up here and swinging.
I mean,
you ain't fucking with me. I got a gun.
I feel like, my whole thing is I felt like Alex Marvez was just like he's an arranger. He's like the a Jeffrey Epstein. Like, you know, here's your victims for you, Murder Hawk. Go into this locker room. There's three jobbers for you to beat up right here. Everybody's
like, oh.
Whoa.
Just saying.
Whoa.
Those are just the opinions of Eric, not the whole of DSP.
Yeah. No. I feel like you went too far with the Marvez thing.
I'm just saying he was a.
That's like the ultimate Satan.
I know.
It's like there's like Hitler, some Rose Down, some other people, Jeffrey Epstein, and Giselle Maxine.
Okay.
Or Maxwell.
You're right. Well, I might as well keep it going. Sammy Guevara made his return. In the main event. And I just didn't care. And then instantaneously they announced that next week is going to be a 10-way tag as usual. And AEW where the best friends team up with the Jurassic Express to face the Inner Circle. Who gives a flying fuck? Manny, did you give a fuck?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Marcus, do you give a fuck?
I haven't gave a fuck since the Butcher and Blade threw Matt Jackson through a table.
And Wes, do you care about Sammy Guevara making his return?
Who?
Exactly. Moving on to happier things.
That was such a dark ending.
What's the disrespect? What's the disrespect of this report? It'd be like 5 minutes to NXT, 2 minutes to SmackDown.
Hold up, Eric. Hold up, Eric. I gotta say something about AEW Dark because I know you're about to move.
Go ahead.
I don't know if anybody watched.
You only watched 15 minutes of it.
No, listen. Scorpio Sky was on there flipping around doing nothing. The first match on AEW Dark was Sheeta, the women's champion, versus what's her name? Rochelle, not Rochelle.
It doesn't matter.
The other black girl. The other black girl.
MJ Jenkins?
Richay Chanel. So
Okay.
Richay Chanel, I don't know if you've seen her.
No.
Is the ghetto version of Bianca Belair.
Oh, is she the person that was next to MJ Jenkins when they showed the crowd shot?
Maybe.
Wait, the person I thought was someone's mom.
Probably.
Maybe she had like a big purse, like a Chanel purse. So Richay, R-A-C-H-E. If you add a T on that, that's ratchet. So Richay had a big purse. She'd be like prancing around. She was fighting Sheeta and tied Sheeta up in the ropes. Went to her purse, got a big comb out, and tried to comb Sheeta's hair like at least twice. I was like, what is going on? You need to watch this match. It is ridiculous. Mark,
That's the kind of stuff that would make me laugh. Like if this happened in SmackDown when Lacey Evans was grabbing her bag.
she has a big. Watch the match. That's all I'm saying. Watch that match.
I will say that does kind of that interests me because I have never seen that in wrestling. And for the record, everybody who listened, I did not make AEW go long. I will look at the grand finale, who had more ranting and raving than I did ever. Shake your head in denial. Moving on.
Talking about it.
NXT took place.
I'm my life.
And as Manny says that, yeah, NXT will be easy and a breeze to go through because everything made sense and it's not much to gripe about. You either didn't like it or you liked it. It's simple as that. The show starts off with Keith Lee talking about that he's going to renounce his North American Championship. Then Regal announced that we're going to have a ladder match at TakeOver 30. And it will be a series of triple threat matches to qualify for said ladder match. Marcus, you held up the hand to stop me, I believe. What did you want to say?
What did you feel about Keith Lee and his death? I'm curious about you. Did he talk fast enough for you?
He did not, Marcus. Let me tell you something.
He took way too long to relinquish that title.
Marcus, can I tell you?
Who did the impression of Keith Lee? Was it this man?
Everybody did that impression.
I think we all. It's your turn.
I would like to relinquish. Like, just think about it.
Once his ass started talking, I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch AEW first. Nothing against Keith Lee, but I knew it's a possibility I could watch the first hour of AEW. He's still trying to explain what he was talking about. So it's as simple as that. But I do like that Regal was there to, be an authority figure and announce this match. Why are they triple threat matches? God knows only why. But the first match that was going to have a triple threat implication was going to be Gargano, Thick Boy, and Roderick Strong, the guy that everyone always forgets. And they had their little segment backstage, and
never forget Roddy.
And honestly, Bronson Reed was there, and I think everybody who was watching, dude, you ain't got no chance. It's gonna be Strong, but it's probably gonna be Gargano in this situation. Were you guys shocked when Bronson Reed came away with the victory in the triple threat match? Wes is shaking his head. Did you really pick Bronson Reed to win this match?
Yes, just because there was no reason for Gargano to be in this. If they wanted, they want other stars or future stars, there's no reason for Gargano. And Roderick, he's moving on. So Bronson Reed was the most logical choice. He's not winning the belt. He's just moving on to the next round.
Manny, do you agree with the logic that Wes gave with Bronson Reed winning this match, or did you have someone else pegged to win this match?
I agree with Wes. I fully enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the interactions with anything Gargano and Roddy did when they were about to both slide into the ring and they both stopped. It's like, I knew you were going to do that. Just heels being heels. It was great.
Marcus, what about you? Did you pick the Thick Boy to win?
No clue. I thought Gargano was winning this since he declared that he wanted to win the North American title, I believe, a few weeks back. And I thought that would give the match more star power. So I assumed Roddy was going up. And Bronson Reed has been jobbing to everybody since he's made his debut. So I was relatively shocked. And I thought a spectacular match. I thought that everybody in this brought their A game, character-wise and wrestling-wise. Bronson Reed looks like a beast. Gargano and Strong look like two of the best workhorses in the game.
I would say that
they definitely.
Oh, go ahead.
They definitely made the Thick Boy look good.
I would say if you want to talk about the way to make a character bounce back from being destroyed by Karrion Kross, this is what you do with the Thick Boy. I really appreciate that.
That power bomb on the outside though looked like that would have ended my career.
Now, with that being said,
basically because of my hip and back, but I was like, damn.
The next triple threat qualifying match happens next week. Wes has already picked Dexter Lumis to win this match. Manny, I turn to you. Who do you have, Lumis, Finn, or Thatcher?
As I said on Thursday, it's quite difficult to pick this match, but I'm going to go with someone from my side of the Atlantic, and I'm picking Finn Balor.
Marcus, what about yourself?
I like that you skipped over Loomis's first match, though.
Marcus,
You
I'm
would
going.
never
Marcus,
skip
I'm
over
going
that
back there, man. Just let me do my job. Just answer the questions that I asked you, sir. And this will smooth.
Shit.
This will move a little bit easier.
All right, so I'm going with. I think I'm changing my pick from Thursday. I don't remember who I picked
Wow.
for Thursday. I think I picked Thatcher, but I'm going with Dexter Loomis to actually win that match because I feel like his athleticism and his quirky personality adds to the match. And once Gargano lost, I feel like him and Finn are gonna have a match at the next takeover.
I'm going with Manny in this situation. Finn is tired of this bullshit. He ain't waiting no more. He's taking his opportunity. He's gonna win this match.
Before we move on, what's the next triple threat? Because if the Sharpshooters boy, Cameron Grimes, is not in a triple threat match, this is an abomination.
I'm assuming it's gonna be Grimes, Priest, and somebody else.
And Denzel DeVernay.
It won't be DeJournette. It won't be Denzel DeJournette.
Maybe Killian Dane.
No, because Marcus, you know what? You keep bringing up Killian Dang. Were you happy that his shirt was pulled down and it looked like he was wearing a thong in his match against Loomis?
I'm triple threat matches. No, I'm saying in the triple threat match because it has to be 5 spots. Like I'm thinking Killian Dane may get one of those spots, and maybe they dig up Velveteen.
Well, I think the last one is going to be like a losers match, last chance losers match.
Yeah, or it'll probably be like Gargano, Thatcher, and some other people to be in there.
But you got to fill out the card, right? Like if you have all your top guys in this ladder match, you only seem like you only have 3 matches of Keith Lee and Cross, the ladder match. EO versus probably either Dakota Kai or whoever. And then what's your other match?
Would they put El Hijo in the match? In one of the triple threat matches?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think he's doing his own thing with Swerve.
I'm assuming the next triple threat would be Dijakovic, Grimes, and Priest. Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Dijakovic died.
But he got time to recover, possibly. Marcus, Dexter Loomis beat Killian Dane. My question for you, though, is Killian Dane a part of the Robert Stone Foundation now? Because technically he did get him this match.
I don't know, but I feel like that brand is coming along really well, and I would hope so, because Killian Dane really needs a mouthpiece.
So
he only goes so far.
So you really like that acquisition of Mercedes Martinez, where she told him straight what she wanted. I'm gonna do the ass kicking, and you do everything else.
Yes,
Eric,
yes.
He didn't acquire her; she acquired him.
Manny, when you're in the acquiring business, it doesn't matter who goes to who. You just take that acquisition and you move on with it. He was ran over by a freaking tank twice.
Eric, there is a very distinct difference. If he acquired her, that means he's the boss. Whereas she acquired him, she's the boss. Because he was scared. He shit his pants.
Yes,
when she came out.
But he still gets a paycheck and a percentage because he is a manager, and that's what it all matters. Wes, go ahead.
She told him to handle them contracts, basically.
Yeah.
Make sure that when I go to the pay window, I'm getting what I'm getting. So
it sets up the moment when she turns on him. It's gonna be so blissful.
No, it's gonna be Aaliyah that turns first, right? Like,
no,
they're
gonna get rid of Aaliyah, and I can't get cussed out by Chris in the chat because he's not here anymore, and Aaliyah sucks.
She does, man. I mean,
leave Aaliyah alone.
Let me tell you. Marcus told me, and he said this to me, Betty. I don't know if he said that he felt that Shotzi Blackheart and Aaliyah, that might have been one of the best matches that he's seen Aaliyah had.
It says more about Shotzi Blackheart than anything.
Oh!
It says that Aaliyah is actually getting better, guys. Come on.
No,
she's
Shotzi
only
Blackheart
she's only 23 or 24 years old. Give Aaliyah a chance. Mercedes Martinez is 45. She's finally getting her opportunity. She's perfecting the game. Let Aaliyah grow, okay? Maybe she just develops into Robert Stone's assistant.
Marcus, how are you a Aaliyah fan? I just don't get it.
Because day one, I'm down with these people for day one. Aaliyah's gonna make it, okay?
So speaking of your day one, Marcus, Breezango beat Everrise. What you got to say about that?
Moving on. I'm gonna say this was I was entertained by the bounty stuff. Everrise is nothing but the fat young bucks. They're all pretty young
Wes,
bucks.
do you have anything to chime in on Marcus talking about Aaliyah or even the the Ever Rise losing to Breezango?
Well, when you talk about Aaliyah, you can't help but think about Miss Vanessa Bourne. So shout out to Vanessa Bourne trying to get Bad and Bougie back together one day.
Wasn't Vanessa
Who
Bourne
is
The main
released?
roster now, allegedly.
Yeah, they just won't use it.
Born and Bougie.
They won't
she on
use
the
it
main
on the main roster. Yeah, there was a secret call up that apparently she's just always in the back on Raw and SmackDown, but they never actually
Who,
use
Vanessa Bourne?
Yeah.
Is she kicking it with Chelsea Green? Because I hear that she was a secret call up too that they haven't used yet.
I don't know what they're doing on the main roster.
So-
They're probably fighting on main event.
So one thing that I can't believe I'm going to say that I actually like Manny has hate for Aaliyah, and everyone knows that I have hate for Swerve Scott. However, Swerve Scott had a studio session. Swerve Scott was pointing out his vibe and how he needed to, he was always dancing when he was younger, and he was letting us know who Swerve Scott was. And then he also told us that when he fought Johnny Gargano, he saw what it took to be a champion. And at this point, he said, Escobar, Santos, let me holler at you, player. I beat you, and I'm coming for your title. Marcus, you have fallen off the screen because this is one segment that, as I always said, Isaiah Scott is shucking and jiving. He was shucking and jiving in the studio, which confirmed that he's been dancing since he was a youthful Marcus. Swerve Scott, what you got to say?
If I see one more black man in the studio in the wrestling talking about they gonna make their album, I am done with it. I am so sick of this. Everything was going fine. I was saying he was not a shucking and jiving black man. He is not a Rich Swann. Therefore, he is not an R-Truth. But then all of a sudden, we cut to him in the studio talking about how he loved to dance. This was a setback for Swerve Scott for me.
And Marcus, in this situation, Marcus, I will apologize to you because, like I said, I'm retracting the statement I made last week. Chris Bay is not a better Swerve Scott. He's just not. A man who can pour the bubbly cannot be better than the guy of Swerve Scott who's just Swerve. Manny, do you care about Swerve being in the studio?
I thought it was funny, but then I realized how Marcus felt about it, and then it just made it more funny.
Exactly. Wes, what about you, Swerve Scott? Do you see any potential in Swerve Scott and beating Escobar?
Yes, I think he's more entertaining being in the studio and shucking and jiving and dancing around than the black fellas who aren't. It just seems like the black people who more exuberant, more outwardly going, are more interested. Cedric ain't that, and Richard ain't that. So,
hey, Richard and Cedric were good this week.
Really shuck and jive. I mean, he shucks and jive, but I was gonna say Montez Ford don't shuck and jive, but never mind.
He does, Marcus.
He's the king of shucking and jiving right now.
He's the king of shucking and jiving.
And last match, the last match before we talk about
under Tahuti Miles, there's no such thing as a competent black man that is a shucking and jiving.
Thatcher defeated Only Lorcan in another catch can style match. Them trying to reverse each other. Lorcan seemed very surprised when he lost this match. Manny, where do we go from here? I mean, who else is Thatcher going to fight?
I think he needs to dig up. I think Chad needs to make a return. Chad Gable, not the Chad we hate, but Chad.
Get for the record, I do not hate the Chad that you guys hate. That's a personal beef that you guys have, and one day I feel like I should have FTC on the show just to piss you guys off even more.
Eric, you're either with us or against us.
Well, yeah, as everyone knows, I'm against you guys. I left your cult long time ago.
But here's my thing. I enjoyed the Thatcher look. Yeah. And it's great. It's great, homie. It's great. But I really would like to see Thatcher fight. There's so many people I like to see Thatcher wrestle. It's ridiculous. I like to see him wrestle AJ. I like to see him wrestle Mac Riddle again. Some Drew Gulak action, a little Shorty G action. I mean, it's a long list of people who I want. Some more Denzel Desjardins. I like to see him wrestle Shelton Benjamin. Hell, even Brock Lesnar would be a fun match where Brock would just end up probably whooping his ass, but it will be fun for a minute. So,
do you know who I want to see face,
I need him to get the North American title.
and it will never happen because of COVID. Volta.
Yes. Yes. There are two people that believe this ring is sacred, and they're bruisers, and it'd be amazing. Him and Pete Dunne, as Eric likes to bring up.
Yeah.
If COVID would end, and the main person I want to see a wrestle is Cesaro. Cesaro and Thatcher will be the greatest wrestling match of all time. I would throw money on that one. That's the greatest match of all time.
It'll be like a man wrestling himself, which Eric does, from what I hear.
I would prefer to see Thatcher versus Daniel Bryan if I had to pick. I have a different.
Oh, that too.
I have a different question for Wes and B'more. Wes, the main event was Karrion Kross against Dijakovic. Did you enjoy the tender moment between Keith Lee tenderly looking at Dijakovic as Dijakovic told him, "Don't do it, Keith. Don't do it. Let me take this."
You know what? When that was going on, I was thinking about the scene in Rocky when Rocky should have threw in the towel when the Russian was beating Apollo Creed.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, we here right now. My big thing was, okay, you want to fight? That's fine. You getting beat up? That's fine. After the match is what I had a problem with. I don't care. You my friend. You got beat up. I'm on my knees checking on you. This grown man is staring me down. Dude, get up on your feet and get in this dude's face.
Yeah,
that was what my problem was.
Yeah, that's
cool to the street.
That is like, you know, like,
we got a problem.
Like
right, you on your knees checking your friend, like, dude, he got beat down.
Especially when that guy is gunning for your championship, he might try to attack you.
Exactly.
I mean, he did send a threatening destroyed clock last week. I feel what you're saying on that situation. I mean, but Keith Lee just moves in slow motion. I would say that they didn't.
No, he talks in slow motion.
I would say they handled the throw in the towel spot a lot better than AEW did, but I don't know if it was really worth my time. But I did like seeing an innovative way of Karrion Kross taking out Dijakovic with the chairs. Marcus, have we seen that chair used before? I mean, the stairs, sorry.
Stairs. I don't know. We probably have, but it looked really cool. It looked like he killed a man. And for the referee to be cold and heartless as he was, just going out there to check on Dijakovic and then saying, "Show me something," and then got to the ring and start counting for the 10 count for the disqualification. What the fuck is the ref doing? You checked on me. I died. What are you looking for?
I want to say it took about 20 seconds for Kross to get Dijakovic back in that ring. That ref was stopped. He was on 8. He stopped for about 10 seconds. And then he was like 9, and he was back in the ring.
I'm telling you now, when he threw him into those stairs, I saw his spirit leave his body.
I saw gold rings come out of that staircase. Like he literally died. And he threw the ring and punched him.
So, Manny, I turn to you with the last question before we close out NXT. Are you happy with the upcoming feud between Keith Lee and Karrion Kross?
Yeah, but I think they need more story going into it because I think that you're not going to get much out of it going into NXT TakeOver Triple X. Yeah, I said Triple X. Eric.
Do you
calm down?
Do you think if they had Scarlett attack Mia Yim, it would put some more boost behind the storyline?
I don't think you need to because he's already beat the crap out of Dijakovic and they're like best friends. So I don't think you need to add that. But if you did, it'd be a nice sprinkling of salt.
We gotta throw the salt onto it. Marcus,
I think what needs to happen from this is that we see Keith Lee talk in slow motion. I don't need that. I need him to come out there and sound like some crazy dude just screaming. It's like, "Karrion, go here now! I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you!" Just lose his cool. Like he'll lose his cool, tell the story. I don't know, but he needs to lose his cool, and this is the perfect time to display that. To display the monster that's Keith Lee. Even if it's a calm cool of like, "I'm going to kill you," like if just looking to the camera and threatening to kill a man. I'm all for that. Yeah, I am going to kill you. There is nothing. You are out of control. And I believe you have the weeks to build upon this story. And I support the attacking of Mia Yim. If Scarlett just was like, "Yeah," just jumped out of a closet and attacked her, it was like, "Ah, I'm scratching you."
So, but will your boy Swerve come jump out?
Nah, he done. He's over that. Keith Lee already talked to him.
You gotta lose yourself. You gotta lose. So, speaking of losing yourself, SmackDown started off with an opening package of Jeff Hardy, and Sheamus, Jeff Hardy admits that he's an alcoholic. He lost himself in the drink, but he has battled his demons, and he's willing to fight this. I'm going to jump right to the end. I'm extremely disappointed that this cinematic match of the Barroom Brawl took place on national television instead of the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, because I did not like that brief commercial break, because you could tell they did not know where to cut it, because like they came back and then the match was just over. Wes, you work in production. Did you like the placement of this production match being on the SmackDown show?
No, but let me say this. I only saw highlights of the match. I didn't see the whole match.
You don't have to admit. You don't have to admit the truth here, man. You could have lied and feasted your ways through it.
My question was, I had a question.
AEW Dark and not watch this match?
He watched 15 minutes of AEW Dark.
I was going to work this morning, man. So my question was, and I'm gonna go watch it when I go in the house. I'm gonna go watch it when I go.
No reason to. I mean, okay.
My thing is, when did he put the face paint on?
That was Marcus. I'll tell you, this was Marcus' favorite part of the match. This is where Sheamus has clearly beat Jeff Hardy's ass, and he decides that he's gonna put the hat that Sheamus walked in, because first and foremost, the first thing you need to understand is that Sheamus walked into this Barroom Brawl dressed for an ass kicking of any race that wasn't Irish. He had a white shirt on, he had suspenders, and he had his little derby hat on. He walks in and he takes his derby hat and he tells his bartender, protect this hat. After he proceeds to whoop Jeff Hardy's ass, he takes his hat and he put the hat over Jeff Hardy's face. And instead of pinning the man, he decides to go get him a nice cold beer of Guinness from the tap. He drinks his beer, and when he finishes his beer, that's when he takes the hat off, and Willow has returned. Marcus, you shake your head in disgust. Why?
He cost me the title, you bastard! You cost me the title. You went for that drink. The alcohol has cost me everything. It's cost me everything. But it looked like a really nice drink. I enjoyed this match. And I disagree that, you know what? I thought being on SmackDown gave us a free pay-per-view match of a cinematic match. And I know you were disrupted by the commercial, but you didn't miss anything. They just cut away. I enjoyed my favorite moments of this match. One, the baptism in the urinal, in which Sheamus was saying he gonna release the demons, and he's flushing the toilet. I'm releasing your demons. I'm releasing your demons, Jeff. I'm releasing your demons. And my second favorite aspect of this was in every section of the bar, Sheamus has to remove an article of clothing. At the bar, he took down the suspenders. In the bathroom, he took off the wife beater. At the bar, he took off the hat. When he got to the band stage, for no reason, he decided to take off his belt. I think never took off the band. But Sheamus had to show every aspect of his physique in this match. But I think Sheamus does need to go with the taped up hands. I feel like that was a really good look for him. He looked pretty badass like that.
Manny,
and he's in the best shape of anybody in that company.
Did you enjoy the match?
Oh me, yeah, it was amazing actually. Like for it to be on SmackDown, it was a little bit, Like I feel like you could have had this on Extreme Rules. It would have made you feel a little bit more differently about everything else that went on, because like you had a match with a finish, whereas like you had a lot of things going on Extreme Rules, and I can see I wasn't affected by commercial breaks or anything, because I watched it like the next day, so I really enjoyed it. It really capped off, and it really capped off SmackDown.
I think for me the problem was it was out of place. Like you could tell it was old. I mean, I know they were supposed to get it, because to me the main stars of SmackDown was Sasha and Bayley, because they were acting a damn fool. They came out with all the gold. They cut their promos. They called people out, and they even put dissension between Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, which led to probably one of the better matches in Nikki Cross's career. Wes, I turn to you. Well, you said you didn't watch all of SmackDown, right? So I can't turn.
Well, I was going to say I did see that match.
Okay.
And afterwards they had a segment, I guess, on Twitter or WWE.com, whatever, where Alexa wished her well for her match against Bayley.
No, but she was mad.
I have a side note, totally random. It is this girl walking around my neighborhood, walking these two big dogs with a tank top and some bikini bottoms on. It's not that hot outside.
Is she black?
Miss Parker! Miss Parker!
Photos or it didn't happen.
No, because he can't. No, Manny, he can't. He can't. Because if he takes this picture and just for whatever reason his wife decides to look at his phone,
No.
it's just.
It was for the show. He did it for the show.
He did it for the boys.
But
Y'all crazy.
Oh, she gone. She gone. You can't see. You can't see her.
yeah, she was a mirage the whole time.
She come back around, I'll let you know.
When I enjoyed the opening of SmackDown. One, I feel like there's a part of me, if I was running the WWE and it was on HBO or something, Bailey and Sasha would be doing lines of cocaine before every show. Just because that's the way they be acting. They act like they on some shit. So they come out and they on that bullshit, they make this match, and they disrupt the Bliss Cross applesauce, and I was like, yes, Alexa can move on and become Sister Abigail.
That's all you want, Marcus. This is all you want, man.
And I enjoyed the match of Alexa showing her dark side, her evil side, which was the better Alexa Bliss. And when she was kicking Nikki Cross in the ribs the entire match. If me and you were in a wrestling match and I know you sustained an injury and this is for a title shot, I know that you have a tender part of your body, whether it's ribs or orb, I would, be kind to stay away from it. I would like to think I would do that. But she let the evil out and was like, I'm punching these ribs. I'm kicking you in the ribs.
The funny thing was, Alexa went for a slap. Nikki blocked it. And then when you tried to slap me, and then Alexa was like, you punched me.
Well, yeah. My favorite thing about the match was when Sasha and Bailey were on commentary. And for the record, Bailey decided to bring out a new shirt for commentary. She was not working that night. And she says that I bet under those taped ribs is an impression of your boss ring that you can now probably get on WWEshop.com that's probably on sale. And I was like, that's hilarious because I'm like, why are we talking about this? Nikki won. Nikki was the right decision to win, but Alexa Bliss did very well in that match. I was impressed. Something that was
my favorite Alexa Bliss match. Aaliyah and Alexa Bliss having a match in the same week that I liked is a rare occurrence in the wrestling.
Can someone tell me in the lumber chat how many times is Chris go to say bye? Because it seems like he comes back and then he says he's back. Like, I'm so confused.
Well, he's now leave me alone about moving to Seattle.
It sounds like he's having a conversation with the girl in the chat room. So, Matt Riddle fought Tony Nese. Tony Nese, the only purpose that I enjoyed about this is that when Matt Riddle called out Baron Corbin, and he said, maybe you should go compete for the 205 championship. And I was like, you know what? You tell him, Baron Corbin, you let this MFer know that he ain't in your league yet. Manny, go ahead. You laughing at my comment. What do you have to say?
I don't have anything to say because this feud hasn't really fully developed yet. So I just want it to develop and then I might have an opinion about it.
Marcus, do you have anything to speak on about Matt Riddle defeating Tony Nese and then pretty much Baron Corbin calling him a cruiserweight participant?
Yeah, I mean, Corbin went out there and decided to bury the entire NXT and 205 division in his promo, which was well respected from a true King heel. He needs to stop the King gimmick, and I'm going to say that every time we bring up Baron Corbin, just so he can stop being the King. I will take him more serious if he stopped being the King.
All right, let's move on to now we already talked about the segment.
You talked to Wes?
Oh, Wes. But he said he only saw the first 15 minutes. He saw everything else he didn't see.
No, I saw highlights. Like I saw the break part.
Well,
and,
we've already talked about Naomi, Miz, and Morrison. Let's talk about the reference that we made throughout the entire night, meat on meat. Kofi Kingston gave Big E finally the blessing to pursue singles gold. Manny is clapping. He's been clamoring for this to happen for so long. Manny, are you happy that the blessing was given to Big E to pursue his outside interest?
A blessing. I'm just going to point it out. Big E is probably one of my favorite wrestlers at this moment in time anyway. But Big E didn't need anything like that. He just should have just went for it.
No.
Should have just went for it.
No. He needed the touch of God, Manny. He needed the touch of God. The greatest black wrestler of all time, Kofi Kingston, has to bless him and tell him, "You're on your own, Big E. It's just your time to shine. All right, this is your moment. This was Captain America handing the Falcon the shield. Okay, this was everything. This was everything I ever needed. This is Batman passing the mantle to Robin and then taking it back. But I'm just saying, this was everything you needed for me, and it made me so happy. And I believe the entire world, the entire wrestling community, got up onto their feet. And was like, yes, it is finally time for Big E's solo run. Because I've been waiting for this for years. And I've been telling him he needs to turn on that damn New Day for years. And I can't wait for one of the most entertaining wrestlers out right now, Big E, to get this push. And AJ Styles, brother, he coming for you.
Yeah, he's coming to reclaim his IC title. And I feel that was what was suddenly hinted at because of the placement of this announcement right before the Fatal 4-Way that AJ Styles mentioned, how did any of these guys qualify for a chance at my title, damn it? And he was right. Drew Gulak, Grand Metalik, Lince Dorado, and Shorty G, no one really has won a match in a long, long time. Why were they the number one contenders? Who knows?
Hey, if Eddie Kingston could get a title shot for coming off the streets of wherever the hell he was at and get a title shot, so can Lince Dorado. And Grand Metalik.
All right.
King of the ropes.
Well, Marcus,
King of the ropes.
We were both happy that Grand Metalik won that match because we were big fans of Grand Metalik in this situation. And so Wes was also happy.
The hair.
Manny, were you going for Lince Dorado in this match or Shorty G?
I didn't really care about this match.
Manny, did you care at all about SmackDown?
Huh?
What did you care about SmackDown? What was the one thing that you cared about?
The bar fight.
Okay.
And then surprisingly, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, because I wasn't expecting that to happen.
I don't think anybody was, but that pretty much sums up SmackDown. I mean, Big E has a single
Damn,
run.
SmackDown went quick.
Because the bar fight took up a lot of it. I mean, SmackDown took up the majority of it. I mean, I'm sorry. That match took up, trying to watch baseball when my thing is freezing up is driving me crazy. With that being said, it's now time to move on to listener feedback.
You listen to that lumberjack. He isn't giving you his full attention. Just remember that. We give you our full attention on the Manny and Marcus show.
Yes.
Well.
You know what? I have a lumberjack representative here.
I'll make a comment or two in the chat line. I'm like, are they reading this?
No, Wes, I'm not.
I know you're not.
Normally, the chat is popping when we're talking, so it's hard to keep track of everything that's going on. Right now, it's dead.
So you guys are calling
problems in the chat.
I feel like they're calling me boring. This is like when no one is in your chat when you're watching your rewatch stuff. I see how it is.
No, we had like 5 people in the rewatch.
Well, I don't watch it, so I don't know.
I don't care. But with that being said, you left out the most important thing on the show and the crisis that WWE is currently in. Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro are the tag team champions, and they have nobody to fight. The New Day gone. The Usos gone.
What was the word
no tag teams.
Nakamura kept saying? Because it was driving me insane, the way he kept saying it, the way he was.
I don't know.
I didn't. As everybody knows anything about me, I don't understand accents very well, so I had no idea what he was saying.
Racist.
Eric, one thing real quick. I don't know if you mentioned this. Mustafa got his first name back.
Yes, he's now Mustafa Ali, but I forgot that he even lost his name, to be totally honest.
Apollo got his name back. I think everybody get their name back.
Except for Rusev.
I'm about to call this man CN almost again.
Nah, I don't think I don't think Andrade is getting his name back.
CN almost.
Well, speaking of getting names back, it is now time to go to listener feedback, and when we read our emails.
SmackDown's the best show of the week.
If Big E wins a championship, do you think he'll get his Langston back?
Only if he goes heel. Only if he goes heel. I would like
Langston.
I like to Big E.
Is he beating AJ?
No.
What belt will he have by the end of the year? He'll have a belt by the end of the year.
I mean, this will be his.
Isn't Kofi only out for 6 weeks?
That's what he said, but I'm assuming that it's a possibility. It's a possibility that Big E could get his third Intercontinental Championship reign. It's a possibility. You never.
Third?
Yeah, I think he's been.
He could,
Big E hasn't won nothing, right?
He's been the IC champ, Marcus. You forget that.
He's been the IC champion.
Yeah.
And then 8-time tag team champion.
Yeah, I think he's been the IC champion twice.
Uh,
This is when he was a brother, Marcus.
So would you rather watch Big E as the IC champ or Apollo as the US champ?
Now we're splitting mosquitoes, man. Now you trying to make me compare black people to black people, but if I have to do
I
it,
mean, who's more charismatic? Because they're both
Big E.
by themselves a little.
You don't even have to ask that question. You know it.
By himself.
yes,
By himself.
yes,
By himself.
Yes.
Big E rolls down that ring by himself. He stretches in that corner by himself.
Wes,
He does random YouTube, Instagram videos by himself.
if I need you, if I don't know if you can see the look of disgust Manny had on his face when you asked that question, it was preposterous. I can't even say the word. That's how crazy it is. Yeah, Big
It's an
E.
abomination.
Big E wins hands down, man. Like,
Can I go with Big E winning the world title over Braun Strowman?
I would like that.
oh, I didn't.
So is Big. Uh-oh, my kid.
That's Marcus' kid.
That's always at
Is that-
Marcus's back.
Yeah.
It's always in your back.
Is that Marcus Jr.?
Back up.
God damn it, Alex Wood. With that being said, I forgot to bring up that the Fiend had a package that the Fiend is now loose. I didn't care about this Firefly Funhouse package. That's why I didn't really bring it up. It was just
You had to let people know. You had to let them know. Braun Strowman is still dead.
Oh, they also announced that Mandy and Otis is coming back next week with a love story.
Do you know what the other thing is? Did anyone notice that the Universal Champion wasn't on the show?
I noticed, but I didn't care. I saw he died.
Hey, Manny, should you have Bray or whatever go to the swamp and pull out the belt and say, "Well, I can't find Braun, so I guess I'm the champ now," and just walk around with the belt?
That's what MVP would do.
That's what
Right,
Moose did.
exactly. Like, I found the belt, but I couldn't find Braun, so.
So
No, actually, no. That's what Moose did. He found a belt on a table and claimed himself the champion.
and then like the fact that he defends it on Impact and Josh Matthews like this is not a sanctioned title, but he's having his match. He fought Ball this week, and it was hilarious because like Josh Matthews hates this TNA championship for whatever reason.
If the referee announced you as the champion, you are the champion.
That's true. And he was the only person with a belt on the show when Tessa Blanchard held that title hostage. So our
For
first,
150,000.
our first email comes from Chris, who was in and out of the chat room because he's having girl problems. Well, he has 99 problems, but a bitch ain't
I
one.
feel bad for you, son. Oh, go ahead. Hey, finish.
He says, "Y'all are so damn entertaining. Thank you for providing me with an outlet from this crazy world for the past however many years that you had the honor of knowing me." I will point out, I think he's referring to the Manny and Marcus show because that's where he really frequents a lot.
Yay,
Thank
we
you.
did it.
Thank you for the man at the docks. Thank Marcus for that time you slapped Eric. Thanks for staying calm and doing a show during a freaking earthquake. Thanks for doing 2 shows a week back in the day. Thanks for getting females involved in wrestling like the Sharpie wife and Tasha, wherever she may be now. Thanks for the top 5 reveal. Well, sorta. Thanks for kicking Ryan off the show. Thanks for being black.
Just traded Jamal Adams.
Who? Where? To where?
Seattle.
Well, you know, the thing is, you can't call the coach a bumbling fool and still expect it. He used every technique he could to be traded, Manny. I thought you left the Jets, man. You gotta leave the JETSS.
No, I'm trying to find a new basketball team. But no one's giving me decent suggestions.
Why don't you go to the Clippers?
That's what Marcus said.
Because I would tell you to go to the Lakers, but everyone says don't be a bandwagon jumper. But it's always room for you in the Lakers, man.
Go to the Philadelphia 76ers. You have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. It's a young core there.
Actually, the team that has become very popular, Manny, and I'll be completely honest in this one, that I've noticed a lot of people who aren't black are jumping on, it's the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, I still kind of feel that we were stupid to trade Porzingis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that would remind you of, but it gives you a good ticket to go to the Mavericks. Hey, I was a Porzingis fan. That's why I left the Knicks to go to the Mavericks. Even with his rape allegations.
Go to the Warriors, man. They're up and coming.
Go to
Sorry,
Brooklyn
Chris, about your email.
where they fall apart.
All right, so going back, he says, thanks, guys. Now to my continued magnetism towards weird things or people. So I work alone on Tuesday nights. The Coke vendor shows up and tells me that there is a woman laid out on the ground by the loading dock. The contents of her purse are scattered everywhere, and she's wrapped covered in a blanket, and he's not sure if she's alive. He didn't ask me if I want to go check on her. No, I don't.
No,
The hell
that
do
is none of my business.
he said, the hell do I look like? One of the guys on Starsky and Hutch? Jack Bauer? I assure you I'm not. On the wrestling, wait, I haven't watched NXT yet. The thing is, if the guy said that he saw a lady in a blanket, look like she's been robbed, my question to him is, why are you telling me, why didn't you call the authorities? Like, that is not something that I want to go check on. Marcus, are you going to check on a pass out gambler in your casino, or are you going to let police handle that?
No, I go to security right away, or I go to anybody else to be like, hey, man, I think somebody died. And I kind of just do that response.
And just like...
I try to save myself the paperwork and the police investigation.
All right, so just like Chris going, leaving the chat and coming back, he says, well, after being on the live stream of the Untitled Manny and Marcus show and finally getting a chance to watch NXT, I know, we as the Sharpshooters community owe Eric an apology. Oh, wow, I didn't expect this coming. As we allowed the strong arm bullying of nicknaming him the hater when it's actually Manny who's the hater. Yes, you, Manny.
The mad hater.
Rest assured, you're still my third or fourth favorite UK podcaster, YouTuber, but by dude, what's happened to you as of late? The power of being the GM has gotten to you. With great power comes great responsibility. Please don't run this company into the ground with horrible business decisions after horrible business decisions, i.e. Paul Heyman. First, you cheat Eric out of the title with all these contrived rules to a title defense. Then you don't allow Wes his obvious win in the picking contest. He's part of the show. He's the champ now. I understand Marcus is your number one, but you gotta be fair, bro. Then perhaps the biggest travesty of all, there's no physical title. Make fun of AEW unfinished belt. That was what his face holds all you want, but at least they produce something. Get with it, Manny, or we will be forced to all unite and go on strike. Wes, I'm not sure if that was supposed to be praise or an insult saying grunge, and I could best that one tag team. Then Manny, leave Aaliyah alone. How dare you besmirch her good name? She just competed in a match, so how could she be able to have the strength to lift a friggin' tank? She's not Rogue, but I bet she'll sap my energy if I got to smooch with her. She's just so damn adorable, and I'll never understand the hate, Manny. Also, Manny is wrong. Wrongfully wrong. Keith Lee relinquishing the North American title is indeed bad for business. How you and the unnicknamed Eric don't see this is beyond me. Why does NXT continue to do this with their titles instead of finding another way? It wasn't a good idea when they did it with Paige. It was a horrible when they did it with Asuka. It was mad when they did it with the Viking Raiders, and it's horrible now. Nobody gets the rub, so once again, Viking is champ. Unless there is an injury or a pregnancy, this needs to stop. Eric, we anxiously await your combination, cooking, porn show, get her done. Until next time, I remain the one waiting for that day that life returns to some kind of normalcy. I will just piggyback on one thing that Chris said. If you want us to have a world championship belt to hold up for the victor,
you gotta buy some merch.
You have to go to storefrontier.com/DSPN and buy merch. I mean, all we need is one person to say that they bought something, because the only people that have bought something has been Manny and Marcus. Well, actually, no, Manny and myself. Marcus ain't bought shit either.
Wait. I'm out them streets, all right? I'm out them streets. I'm selling these shirts.
Mark, you in the streets doing what?
Where's your shirt at? Huh?
I'm wearing it right now. It's just inside out.
Where's your shirt?
Where's my shirt?
You better,
Is that what you said, man?
storefrontier.com/DSPN and be buying one of these shirts.
Hey guys,
I'm waiting for my Tamina shirt to come in first.
If
Then
you
I'll-
don't buy a shirt, you're not getting a Tampa shirt.
also, let me tell you guys one more
If
thing.
I'm being corrupt and everything, this is how I'm running this thing. Right into the ground.
Manny,
I will have my shirt and my championship belt on my win next week.
Manny, I just want to
That will
point.
actually be. Go on.
I want to point out that Chris has another email. He just
Oh my god.
he says, wait one cotton picking minute. On the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, I never fathomed how much hatred that you two have towards me. Just wow. As far as I know, I never pissed in the cornflakes of either of you. I'm totally disgusted and damn hurt, Eric. Can we have a petition to have Levi and Wes take over the shows on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays? Why? Of course you want to know why. These two had the nerve to invite me to watch along of SummerSlam 2002. Y'all got me fucked up. What did y'all do to this man?
We asked him if he wants to join us on either Skype and watch SummerSlam 2002 next Friday, because that's the next thing we're watching. And he doesn't, and then he sends this email in. Just because it's the return of Shawn Michaels against Triple H in an unsanctioned match.
You guys have a lot of beef going on in your world, part of the world. All right, I just tied it up. Yay. So, our next email comes from Dashing John Pena, aka the Luchador. He says, "What up, Sharpie fam?" And
Luchador.
And what up?
Translate that in English.
He put the Luchador in his email, Marcus. So maybe if you would read the emails, you would know what I'm reading. I'm reading what I see, buddy.
All right, Buster. All right, homie. I see you.
How you gonna call me a buster, you trick?
You whack.
You mark ass bitch.
Oh.
Yes, a mark ass bitch too. On top of that. What up, Sharpie fam? And what up, Lumber Chat? I just want to say something following AEW Dynamite from this Wednesday. First off, Eddie Kingston is a boss on the mic, and they need to sign that man as manager in an MVP type role. Next, I would like to add, and I completely sold on the Butcher and the Blade after this week's episode. These two guys are painters in the morning, butchers in the afternoon, and wrestlers at night and on the weekends. They steal cars and probably go to wild-ass orgies. And also, not to mention Butcher's criminal past and Blade's sexual perversions. These two guys have done more to get over their characters with limited amount of mic time, and I'm sold. I also wanted to say I wasn't bothered by Omega selling the mark for Marco's stunt a few weeks back because I believe it's part of telling his story. Let's not forget a few years back when AJ Styles was taking L's from James Ellsworth. Great wrestlers can do just about anything and be untarnished, and I believe Omega may be that in that class. I would also like to add...
He never begged for his life from Ellsworth. He never went like, please don't hit me anymore, Mr. Ellsworth. They were fluke victories that never really happened.
I would also add that AEW needs to stop telling their stories on AEW Dark and being the elite because this is confusing to people who only watch Dynamite. Those things were fine when you were in the minors, but now all your focus should be on the show, in my opinion. I would like to add that if you follow all their shows, Dynamite makes more sense, but that's just a bad way to do television, in my opinion. Anyway, stay sharp, y'all. Dashing John Pena, aka the Luchador. I mean, I kind of figured that if you watched all the other shows that you would understand what's going on in Dynamite, but you have to do better to write Dynamite, like he says. And also, welcome to the Butcher and the Blade fan club. I'm glad to have another member. Marcus, anything you want to chime on?
Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah, who hates him?
It was something way back. It was a long set of emails. I don't know if there's a question.
I still have one more email to go. But are you guys going to apologize to Chris since he's back in the chat room?
Shout out to Chris.
For what?
You got
a show?
You guys just disrespected the man. Disrespect.
Join us on our watch along, and maybe we may apologize to Chris. But when we watch SummerSlam 2002 this Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and 7 p.m. GMT time, you can see our reaction. Or go watch our previous watch along. Watch SummerSlam 94 or Rey Mysterio Best 2 Hour 3
Marcus,
Falls.
Chris
It
says,
was an amazing show.
Marcus, Chris said the day I'm on watch alone involving Winston's face is the day that Trump stops being a racist. So Marcus, I think that's not an accepting of your invitation.
Well, he can ignore. He can jump off the HBK match. Like the only match after that is Brock versus The Rock.
What's going on, Wes? What's going on with your lumberjack member? I mean, you up in there? What's going on with Chris? Why is he emotional, man? Why is he in his feelings?
Man, first of all, Chris, you are valid on however you feel. This is East Coast love coming to you. So hey, do your thing, man.
Says all the Baltimore people who record the podcast in their car.
I got your back.
Shut up.
Listen, I don't know where this man was last week. He must have been not paying his cell phone bill. I'm talking trash till I beat him. But I had good connection the whole way through.
It's true. Do a Walmart visit.
Our last email.
Get back to Snoop Dogg for no reason.
Our last email comes from the Diz man himself. It's the guy who likes chicken when it's mac and cheese. The guy who says bless you when he hears a sneeze. The guy who walks and runs the camp. It's the Diz man, folks. He's the champ. Marcus, the champ is here, Marcus. The champ is here.
I don't have to listen to this. I am choosing to listen to this. But I will reclaim my 10 pounds ago or negative 10 pounds ago. My image. I will reclaim my graphic, my heart, my soul, Goldie. It will be back in my possession as soon as I get a fair, just title shot.
I really hope Lord Manning challenges for the title before you do again. Just want to point that out.
So, I have a question.
As commissioner, I can't challenge for the title.
So,
I've seen it done.
All right, Cody. So, when I win next week, I'll have a new challenger. There it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can't be Manning.
Matches.
Well,
Yeah,
why can't
I'm
it
not
be Manning?
going for it.
I mean, shouldn't he be able to hold the title till we have a next event?
Yeah, I'm okay with it to go to SummerSlam. I mean, we ain't the 24/7 championship.
Who knows? Anyway, back he says, what's really good, Sharpies, what's really good. Despite the champ appearing on the show last week and early in phone form, the champ decided to send in an email as well. To begin or continue our time together, rather, I'd like to talk about the Big Show versus Randy Orton feud.
This is post the last call?
Yes. I wasn't really a fan because it was based off of stuff that isn't canon. I mean, it has never been established that Edge and Christian and Big Show were the best of friends. I mean, if Brutus Beefcake got jumped by Mr. Perfect and the Genius, you knew that Hulk Hogan was going to save the day. And this isn't the first time there's been a feud like that. What do you guys think when stuff like this happen? Well, for me, doing this podcast for as long as we've done this podcast, I've known that they've been friends for a while. Big Show was the one that convinced Randy Orton to buy his own tour bus because Big Show bought a tour bus and told him that it saved his knees. As for Edge and Christian, I didn't know much about that. Marcus, it looks like you want to chime in. Go ahead.
But it wasn't established on TV, is what he's saying. This is that dirt sheet behind the scenes stuff that you actually didn't know. But I've been always okay with that because there's always the behind the scenes stuff that does carry things. There's the whole click angle to things that they always bring that up. Or if we go into more recently, Cody Rhodes and Arn Anderson, whatever friendship or relationship they have, technically in canon they should never get along because they broke Dusty's leg. They broke Dusty's leg back in the day in the Four Horsemen. They were Dusty's arch nemesis. If we were sticking in the canon, none of this would be working out.
Might I say the weather in Baltimore looked beautiful today when we saw Wes get out of his car and see the beautiful blue sky. Moving on, this question is for Lord Manny. Mr. Lord, sir, I was wondering, what are some of your favorite wrestling theme songs of all time?
Theme songs. The Brood, definitely. That was gothic and cool. That was a great theme song. The Big Boss Man.
The original, where he just said, Big Boss Man, full of energy.
And Owen Hart's. Owen Hart's guitar riff was amazing. What about you guys? What were your favorite theme songs?
Well, although Chris has been on my side right now, he's gonna hate me. Love me some Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid. Believe it or not, the Shield / Roman Reigns theme music I still like. It's pretty good. And then, of course, couldn't be without Randy Orton. Randy Orton's music is all-time favorite. Marcus, what do you got?
Well, I have a few, and a lot of them are more modern. Shinsuke Nakamura's, when the original, when it was just him with the violin and not with the music in there. Bray Wyatt's multiple theme songs. The current one he has for the Fiend, and then the one he had before without the one he used on, I believe, this week. There's Bret the Hitman Hart's was always a good one. Just when you hear that guitar with that, doom, 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 like that's good. Finn Balor's, I enjoyed that. I just feel like it worked his character. And, it's plenty. Like, I don't know. It goes on and on.
All right, and Wes, what are some of your favorite theme songs?
Oh, he's muted.
He's muted.
So I'm going to say Tatanka on the Royal Rumble video game. The 8-bit version of Tatanka.
8-minute version of the Tatanka?
No, the 8-bit.
Oh, the 8-bit. I thought you said 8-minute one.
The 8-bit version of Tatanka, I'm going to say it's the greatest theme song of all time.
Okay. Undisputed Era, Shock the System is one of the best.
Ooh.
Let's see what else. Edge's theme song always, maybe because we ain't heard it that many times.
That's a good pick.
Always
Sir.
gets you pumped up. That one song I hate. Keith Lee song. I just need something different.
So you're not a fan of rapping nor his promos as well.
Well, his music is kind of slow.
Right, like him.
It's like it all works in the package. I also John Cena. You can't see me. The time is now.
No, I like the other one. You think you're untouchable.
Right.
If you're picking between John Cena songs, I prefer that one.
All right, he says, okay, real quick. Sales of both AWO Big Time Players episodes have been going well, and I want to thank you guys for helping with that. You can pick both AWO Big Time Players Episode 1, The Beginning of Change, and AWO Big Time Players Episode 2, Continuing to Grow, at Amazon for $15.98. Not each, but together. Finally, I want to get your thoughts on something else. How much of an impact does the hardcore fans' opinion, have on the success of wrestling? I mean, if we don't like it, why would new people come in and give it a try? Anyway, Sharpies, I'm going to go, but you guys take care. Question. And remember, if you want to fly, get rid of what's holding you down. Later, guys. Sign, a.k.a. the Diz Man. If you're looking to travel or get into the travel business, give me a call at area code 302-314-3576. Let's talk today. The Diz Man says, I would like to speak with you. With that being said, so to answer his question, so how much of an impact does our hardcore fans' opinion have on the success of wrestling? I'll turn to you, Manny, since you said it was a good question.
Can I formulate an answer first?
Marcus, I'll turn to Marcus because Marcus always has an answer.
I always have an answer, even if it's the wrong answer, even if I'm not ready to answer, even if I'm thinking the answer while I'm saying the answer. I'm going to say we have very little, because we can go to anybody and say, yo, man, this is amazing. That Fiend, man, that's something else, or that Undertaker did that, or do something like that. And the first thing, a casual person that may or may not be a wrestling fan, the first thing is, that shit still come on, or that's fake, or, you may get one of these responses when you go like, but man, this is actually really good. My man, check this out. And it's like, it's okay. But what captures the casual fan is, what's hot in the streets. If this is hot in the street, if this is on TMZ or something like that, I may tune in to see what's going on. If Rey Mysterio lost an eye, I may have to tune in to see why did Rey Mysterio lose an eye. I'm just saying, hardcore fans don't have any control over nothing. Nothing.
Wes, do you agree with Marcus? Does the hardcore fans have any influence on casual fans?
I want to say, yeah. Hardcore fans are like the ones that check the dirt sheets and do all this other stuff. So you may have a match that gets changed because everybody has read the internet and read the sheets and be like, hey, somebody's going to go over this other person. So I think the hardcore fans sometimes, for the most part, they're positive, but they do have a lot of negative aspects which turn the casual fans off.
All right, and Lord Manny, have you had enough time to formulate your answer?
Yeah, I think what happens is hardcore fans tend to shit on the gimmicks a lot more, like the actual gimmicks that bring in casual fans, which I've noticed. Like I don't like Luchasaurus and I don't like Orange Cassidy. Yet I know the person that sits usually when I'm in the office that normally sits next to me who likes AEW likes those two gimmicks, and he seems more of a casual fan, and they're more designed to him to draw him in. Whereas like I'm drawn into like all the old kind of fashion style of wrestling because I'm there, I'm gonna watch it. But those things we all shit on. Like we all didn't like Orange Cassidy at the beginning because we thought the gimmick was stupid when he would just come in and kick people's shins.
Yeah.
But I think hardcore fans don't have much say in what's going on because what really makes money and views is the casual fan.
Yeah, because they got to buy stuff for them. They got to buy it for their kids. And then they tell somebody, you want to go to the show. The casual fans bring in all the money. The hardcore fans will always be there. We are the junkies on the corner who would go to anybody to get our fix. So we'd go over there and be like, hey, yo, whatever. And then the casual fans kind of like, yeah, I dabble in a little wrestling here and there, but I don't need it like instantly. I can watch a replay of some shit and be okay with it. Like, it wouldn't offend them. They don't get offended by shit that the hardcore fans seem to get offended by.
I mean, for me, as I speak on this like Conan does, I think the thing is our effect on casual wrestling fans won't have any effect. They don't care what we say. They will never find the dirt sheet. They will never listen to this on the podcast. Casual fans won't care until there's another transcendent talent that appeals, that stimulates their eyes, their mind, and their body. Until there's another Rock, until there's another John Cena, until there's another Hulk Hogan, casual fans probably won't care about professional wrestling. And that's just my opinion.
Well, I consider LeBron a casual fan, but every now and then he posts about like Ric Flair or some shit. So, like,
Ric Flair's
like
70 years old though. I mean,
I know. He referenced like old wrestling.
I mean,
sometimes.
There is nothing to captivate any young people right now. Like, what people are young, like they don't have no K-pop that's going on. That's big with the young people. They don't have any anime references really. I mean, there's a lot. They don't really talk about video games. It's just
I feel like the Elite talk about a lot of video games at New Day as well.
Yeah, but you have to watch Being an Elite to get that. I'm not watching that.
I really hate being the Elite because
it's a shitty show.
No, thing is, it's all right, but you would have to watch some of it to actually get what's going on Dynamite sometimes. And it's just like, why do I have to watch a different YouTube show just to understand what's going on your main show?
You should write a better show that I understand your show on its own. I get that.
My problem with Being the Elite is just a bad sketch show. Like, and I think that's my main problem with wrestling right now.
God damn it, Alex Wood!
There is not a cool character. No one's cool. Like, it's just a bunch of dorks. It seems like there's not really a cool character out there. When I'm like, this dude relates to everybody. He connects with people. Like, for me, The Rock was a bit of a dork, but he had this cool factor when he was talking shit. Like, he was a good shit talker. But there's no one like that. We don't have a Conor McGregor or I'm trying to think.
You don't have an Eddie Kingston, a resident badass that can get on the microphone and he can beat you down with words.
Yeah. Like, you don't have that. You don't have somebody. You don't have a Tekashi 6ix9ine in
why would you want that?
Why would you?
Of all the names to bring up, why would you bring him up? You like snitches?
There's a valid reason why I brought Tekashi 6ix9ine up. He is the best heel on the internet. He's the best. He talks so much shit. No one listens to his music. No one actually likes him. I haven't met a single person that go, you cop that new 6ix9ine? No. Tekashi 9 is shit. But he's a heel. And he plays it very well. The man with the jail
Wait,
Manny, don't have that.
Manny, before that, Marcus, do you know anybody in the age range of 17 to 22?
I know some 16-year-olds. I'm joking.
Eric, anyone over 30 doesn't care about 6ix9ine.
I know. I was like Marcus, we're not the demographic for his music. We're just not.
I know, but even the young people talk shit about 6ix9ine.
I just want to point out
6ix9ine is a heel, and he portrays himself as a heel, and therefore he generates buzz. There is no one in wrestling that generates buzz. There are a bunch of dorks who don't talk shit right, who don't fight right, who don't seem like tough guys. It seems like I could beat up everybody in wrestling right now. A handful. There's a bunch. Like the AEW roster, I feel like I could make a clinic. I could get a clinic and beat up people.
Chris just called you Jerry Lawler. Wes, do you have anything to add before I read the last email?
No, read it, man.
All right. Our last email says, "What's good, fellas? Sorry to disappoint you, Marcus, but Tatanka is indeed still alive. Oh, snap. Bicky is finally getting a singles run. It's about damn time. I've been a fan since he was in NXT doing the 5-count gimmick. With that said, back in the day when King Kong Bundy insisted that the ref count to 5 if his opponent's kicked out at 4, would the match continue? So, with the watch-alongs, is it only SummerSlams that we can pick, or can it be anything from the network? As far as doppelganger matches I have, Big Papa Pump Steiner versus Ugly Singlet Steiner, King of Hearts Owen versus Stampede Owen, Rikishi versus Make a Difference Fatu. Take it easy, guys." And I believe that was from Grunge Smurf. I believe so. Hopefully I'm right in this situation.
Well,
I believe you're right.
You can suggest other things other than SummerSlam. We were only going with SummerSlam because it was leading towards SummerSlam. But
yeah,
you guys
I can put hashtag SummerSlam at the end of it.
Yeah,
but Chris suggested Psychosis versus Rey Mysterio, which was actually a really fun match.
There were so many people there.
Yeah. What you need to recommend? Go ahead.
Anything from the network is probably easier for us to watch because it's quite hard to find a lot of this stuff on YouTube and then having to sync it all up and everything. It's easier for us on the network. But if you find something that's decent quality and stuff like that, we can watch that.
Yeah. The one thing about the watch along is that it's almost a free for all show. Like we start off with a plan, and then somehow we end up watching Mabel versus Jeff Jarrett. Or Tatanka versus Luger.
Let's not forget about it. That was a solid Jeff Jarrett match.
I'm just saying that was our main event. Like we could have ended on a good note with Owen and Brett, but we decided to follow the bad trail of Tatanka and Luger that led into Mabel and Jeff Jarrett.
Let's not just forget, we rewatched Tatanka sell out.
That was the whole point.
So this is what all the Tatanka talk is about. I guess it now makes sense now. I was wondering why did
you lot have got to join us on the watch along because they're actually fun. It's just us, not a planned show. We're just watching wrestling, talking about the past, present, everything.
I thought about joining you guys, but then I realized I was at work, and I was like, oh, I can't do this because I have my iPad and I have my phone. If I walk in with all this going on, people are going to really question the lack of work that I'm doing. You know.
Now, here's my question. Whenever you're free, Eric, I'm down to do a watch along with you, and you can pick the match. Or if you want to do an episode of Brothers on Baseball, in which we are watching a live Dodger game. It's just talking shit because he would never allow us to.
Eric likes the show titled Brothers on Balls.
No, I do not like that show. I don't like nothing like that. First of all,
balls on balls.
We really need to take the narrative away of me in this porn. I don't understand what this is about. It's
moving to gay porn. That's what it's moving into.
No, I mean, because I feel like you guys are just gonna just keep digging more and more and putting more dirt on the grave. I don't get it.
Eric, is the title of the show Meat on Meat?
Yes, it was gonna be the title of the show.
Eric's cooking show is going to have a lot of sausage products.
Wow. You know what? I think I don't have to take this. I'm going to go home. I'm going to take my sausage. And
You're home. You're home. That's clear. You're home behind you. You can go. I mean, are you at home or is your wife letting you stay for the weekend or what's going on here? Yeah. Hey, like that. We're doing Steve off the sides. I do Hollywood Blonde.
That was even the Hollywood Blondes is this, sir.
Hollywood Blonde Steve versus Stone Cold Steve Austin Steve.
Eric, I'm also on annual leave for 2 weeks, so if you want to record any additional content, this would be the time that I can work your schedule.
Let me just ask this question: like, is this really a discussion we should have while we're on the air recording the show? I think Wes has to get back to his family life. You know, he's been here. We've actually seen Wes leave work, go shopping to buy some eggs, make it home. You didn't buy the eggs?
I didn't buy anything from Walmart because I had a list of 4 things in my head, and they only had one, so I just.
You know,
at one point I thought you were looking at pants. So explain yourself.
No, I got out of the main aisle and got into the clothes section where nobody was.
I see.
And what were you making with the eggs again?
Brownies.
Okay.
What kind of brownies?
They didn't have the mix that I wanted, so I was just left.
Oh,
I had a bag of chips in my hand.
So you don't do the brownies from scratch? You go from the mix?
I didn't feel like doing all that.
Okay.
It's almost 5 o'clock here. It's almost 5 o'clock.
I mean, but still, brownies might be ready by 7, ready for dessert. To go nice with that dinner with a nice scoop of vanilla ice cream on top of it.
What are you talking about? You just hungry, you fat bastard.
I am, man.
I'm hungry too.
That's why I gotta wrap this up to go eat me some food and watch Dodger baseball. So anyway, I want to thank Wes N B'more for joining us on this week's episode of the show. It's possible he might be the champion. If he is the champion, he'll get to at least hold on it for a week. We will have no title defenses. Since Manny might be the commissioner, but I'm the executive, and I have overruled him.
You took my title, and you're just not gonna let me defend it back? This is outrageous.
Whatever you threw, they didn't fight back.
Yeah, I threw the water bottle at the wall and it just bounced back at me.
Well,
it should have bounced back and hit that picture behind him.
Needless to say, I am Eric.
I'm Lord Manny. Hey.
I'm Wes N B'more.
You didn't say
and I.
well, Manny, I would also point out you didn't say the hater either. You got tired, sir.
Well, I already messed up my introduction. I might as well just mess up the outro today as well.
Hold on. Let me get my outro in, all right? I'm not going to mess
Well, anyway, everybody, that's the show. We hope you all enjoyed it. You know.
IMD next. ESPN heavyweight champion of the world. I am Marcus the grand finale, and I hope you guys never forget this shit. Me and the finale are planning on getting our title back.
Who's getting a phone call?
I'll see you later. That's me.
I don't think the finale is putting the respect on my championship win coming up.
Hello. This is Ryan.
Yeah, I need you to let me in.
And that's how we did it.
On the door. The chain on the
so
door.
they can do meet on me. Until next week, guys, stay sharp. We're out.
Bye.
Thank y'all for having me on the show again. I greatly